Well, like the fireworks of our personalities, but no, there's no fireworks.
Didn't see any fireworks. Now, now I want
I
fireworks.
know,
Like,
right?
we
Okay,
don't even
well,
have. You just told us they were there, and
you
they're
see the
not there.
fireworks? I haven't seen fireworks. All right.
It says
What
on
up?
there.
What up, Wonderkins? Let's get lost in Wonderland. Just kidding, it's the ICL. So with me, we have a very special guest down from the mountain. He might have
Ooh.
altitude adjustment, but he is with us here. We have the Forbidden Mountain Dan. Welcome. How are you doing?
What is up, Katie? I'm doing well. I'm finally recovered from my weekend of sickness, so I'm ready to hang out and have some fun tonight.
How fun is that? That like as you get older, your body just will just betray you and you'll just
No,
have an entire weekend lost to time.
so there's this wonderful thing about living in Philadelphia, and it's the seasons are not actually, like 4 times a year. They're like 4 times a day. So we're at that position in life where, I get up in the morning, I take my kids to school, I have to wear like a vest over my sweatshirt, and then when I go to pick them up, I'm wearing shorts.
It is fun. And then that means you're always wearing the wrong outfit, which I think is the most fun part is that you're like, all right, time to
All
leave
right,
the
I'm
house. And
ready.
then you leave, you're like, yep, that was wrong. That was
Let me go ahead and back
Yes.
that, please.
absolutely the wrong choice.
It's the opposite of fun.
This is my first time using
But
Pixel
yeah,
Connect,
so
so somebody
the
just tell me
allergies
where I
just
got to
got
go
kicked
on
me
it
in
to
shins this
get into
weekend,
the
but we're
game.
good. We're back. I'm excited.
Yeah. Have you followed any of the tournaments this weekend?
I did. I did a really good job of while being sick watching. So that was great because I had entertainment
Cool.
while I couldn't do anything else.
Just
Yeah.
get out of this one.
And I
You
mean, it
mean?
was an interesting weekend because it was quite literally the second weekend of competitive play for set 7. And some people are like, we're cooked. It's over. This meta is just going to be like a deja vu of, other sets where there's only one deck being good. But I was surprised. But tell me a little bit about you. Were you surprised about how the meta started shaking out in real time?
I mean, I don't know if we can argue that it can shake out. I
Yeah.
think that some other
Starting.
decks, they came to play
Is
this
that true?
weekend. But
I thought Dick Burns
for
just
the
said
most
he's
part,
not
Sapphire
playing round
Steel
one.
still just had a dominant weekend overall. The numbers for Sapphire Steel are pretty outlandish compared to anything else. So whether it be aggro, whether it be items, honestly, either of those choices are both good and solid. And while they didn't win a bunch of tournaments this weekend like they did in week one, they were still the most dominant and top 8, top 16 deck list for sure.
Yeah, and I mean it's interesting because there was 2 in the tournament, the Hunter Burt Memorial Tournament. 2 made the top, 3 made the top in the Ink Invitational, but neither won. So I don't know. Do you think that's just because people were jumping on a bandwagon in the first week, or people teching towards it? And
Yeah.
have you done any? I know you do meta reports. Have you done any conversion?
Yeah,
study?
the conversion's been still like I think there was 19 in the Ink Invitational. I believe it was 3 that made it. If I remember correctly, it was 2 or 3. I can't remember. And then I didn't see the full numbers for Hunter, so I wasn't sure about that one. But then there was a webcam tournament that had 128 players, and their conversion was kind of like insane. There was like 33 of them played in the tournament, and there was still 8 or 9 of them that converted to the top 16. So it's still definitely performing, but obviously it's also easy to the more you are, the more likely you are to convert. So, but I think the numbers are still pretty good and pretty strong.
Yeah. And I mean, we're still, I think there's a very, very, very big, not very, very big, but more than 200 players so far. Do you know anyone headed into the Charlie's Collectible Showcase coming
Making
this
a
weekend?
room called ICL round 1.
I mean, there are
all
definitely players we know that are
lowercase,
going
all
in.
one word.
I have a couple friends
How do I
from the
join it? Do I
Discord that
click
are
play
hanging
and
out
then
there. They're
Play,
all
click
probably on
custom, and then
different
just type what I just
lists. If
said.
I'm being completely honest, I don't think anyone's sold on anything in particular. I also think it's still a good position to be playing a comfort pick in a large tournament.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's no guarantees, I think. And as long as people are running Oswald, you have the chance of just lucking into them having a terrible Oswald day. So that's the good news is while people are gambling, they can have bad days. But today we have the matchup of behind me. I am on side of Club Villain. Oh, we're getting this from Bruce. All right. So we got some fun things coming in from the booth in New York. By New York, I mean Nebraska. But we have 2 matchups. We have the Lorcana Loungers. They're taking it easy, furrowing their brow, but they're here against Club Villain. Villain Club. I always say Club Villain because Club Villain seems more appropriate to me. But no, it is not Club Villain. It is Villain Club. And
I thought it was the Dirty Rats. No.
that's just what we call them when we're not live.
We're live.
Sorry.
We're
We've
live.
been live. Yes, we've been. We didn't
my,
tell you. I'm so sorry.
my bad. I
We'll
thought
re-record
we
it.
were just like messing around.
Yeah, right. We're just hanging out
right
and
in the
just.
middle of your
But yeah, so
Oh,
there's some
beautiful.
things, and I mean, you probably have some personal heartburn because there's a player that someone you'd call a friend, and yet I don't know.
Not
There's
today.
not today.
Not today. No.
It's
How do
you don't
we-
even recognize him anymore.
Let's see.
No.
I want to play with it
So
too.
we have a couple of
Up
exciting
there.
matchups between the 2 teams. Now, Club Villain, dang it, Villain Club, they're spread out across the United States. They're not all in
Villain
one.
is just the way we should go. I think it's just
Club
official.
Villain. I know. I'm
It's
so
just
sorry.
switch to it just right now. Just mirror it, and then just it'll be fine.
I'll get it right. And then, yeah, Lorcana Loungers is another team where I think they're highly decentralized. So sometimes we have a store team where they're like, we're all here in one room, we hang out. But these are teams that you don't know. There could be one in your house and you wouldn't even know it.
That's actually very true for both of these teams historically.
Yeah, there could be
I
anywhere.
have friends on both of these teams that have been in my house, so it's
They've
actually
been in your house, and did you know
Yes.
they were in their house?
Debatable.
So we're gonna go ahead. I will let production know that we have made some very beautiful player cards, and I'm uploading the very last one right now. We make little player cards as a little like, this is for you, and because we love you guys, and because I have a Canva Premium membership, I'm going to get every dollar out of it.
Smart.
So as far as the rounds, we just got an announcement that 2 of the players are switching. So round 1, it looks like we are going to have Mitch versus somebody else.
Wochuk?
Now that's the one I'm like, has he already switched it?
I think it's Wochuk.
Okay, so yes, it'll be Wochuk, who that is not his government name. He is that's always my favorite thing is when
I'm gonna let you struggle with this one actually.
I struggle all day. Because I have to like send out and then people's Discord names and Melee names and then they're
it's the worst.
It's
actually,
truly something else. But Wochuk, Chuck Woe, Oh, I didn't upload his card, so never mind. Booth.
Oh no.
Ground control to New York. It's in my Canva. It's coming. He sent me a new photo because you sent me a photo that was just his head photoshopped on Zach Bivens' body.
Oh, okay.
Which was a choice, but you know.
I mean, it kind of makes sense for the Lorcana villains. So you know.
Exactly. They're out of control. They're doing, whatever they need to do over there. They don't have rules. I am wondering, will we ever see the lead villain of the club villain? We don't know.
I'm not sure.
I'm not either. And it's kind of like the build-up, right?
Like, it's pretty late, so maybe it's just past his bedtime or something. Or he is a rat. He's got to go eat, during the night. So you never know.
He's scavenging. Currently,
he's got to go get his cheese. Whatever.
Looking for a bit of a crumb. All right. TLC. Oh my gosh. Multitasking. So as we know in the ICL, we do not allow teams, or rather, I'll put it a different way. Teams are only allowed to represent each ink color once. So, or not in color, but combination. So you can't have a team where guess what? We're all Sapphire Steel. We're all going in. So you might see some mirror matches, and we have seen mirror matches, but you will not see a team go all in on one deck. So I think we'll see some exciting variances. Now, are any of these players, I know I'm not telling you their names, so you've seen the list though. Are there any that you're convinced?
I have no idea what they're playing tonight. I can take a guess what Wochuk is playing.
Well, the one that says Villain Alex is Dick Burns. So that's because I'm uploading it right now. I work on what's called a just-in-time production line, which means you only make the stuff the moment it's needed. But Alex is in there. I had to do an AI thing on him because one of the ears of his hat was cut off. So I did have to use AI to make it a little bigger, but you can show that it's in there now. But Alex Brousseau, Wochuk,
Wochuk.
His name surprisingly has nothing to do with Chuck at all.
Did it have to? Like, is that a
I don't know,
requirement?
but you'd think if my name was like, well, Rebecca, and I'm like, my name's Katie, you'd be like, well, why was it real Rebecca? All
Maybe
right.
you just like the name.
So the good point. So it's going to be whoa.
Maybe he
Chuck.
just likes chucking things, and while he does it, he says, "Whoa."
That's true. That's his signature move. But Whoa Chuck will be chucking things at a Lorcana lounger by the name of Mitch Alvaro.
Okay. I am not familiar with this player.
Well, I'm going to send you the deck list. So that way, while
All
we're
right.
talking about them, I'm going to tell you a little about the players and I'll send you the deck list so you can start getting hyped internally, but privately, because we don't want to let the people know. But Mitch Alvarone is also known as Gnarly Day, which I assume is a play on Charlie Day, which is
I like it. I can get behind that.
And yeah, I mean, he's got some accolades here. Top 16 in the SSG 5K, and then also top 16 in a 10K. So he's making people feel scared, and he's also won several set champs. So he's probably sitting on a stack of mats when he plays just to feel that excitement.
I mean, that's cool. I can get behind that.
I have come into 4th place in several set champs. So that's would be on my player card. I'm consistently pretty good.
Okay. All right. I can get behind that. That's not bad.
So that's our first player. But then we have also Whoa Chuck, who I assume it's coming in any moment from the booth. Let's see here. It'll come in. There we go. This is a picture he sent me. It's not him photoshopped on Zach Bivens. It's him acting like a Snorlax in a slowpoke hat. So what kind of accolades is it? What kind of accolades does he have? You can go ahead and share with the audience
top
there.
64 DLC Atlanta, top 64 DLC Texas, and top 64 Vegas. The good reason for him to be posted on Zach Bivens' head is because Zach Bivens was always able to get to top 32 at least. So, Wochuk coming in top 64 and a bunch of them not able to even get past the Bivens line of top 32.
The Bivens line. So scientifically,
the perfect player for the Villain Club for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I sent you the first 2 matchup lists, I believe. So that's coming your way. But then we can talk about the other 2 players. We have, let's see here, from the kind of loungers, we have Josiah Bell. So that player, let's see here. I'll stop leading into it. I feel like I'm setting up Luke, where I'm like, Luke, but he's doing lots of things right now.
This name on this deck is absolutely A+.
Yes. Yeah, it is. I'm excited about the first deck because I'm excited. I did openly say in a video I just did that I don't think this deck is good, and I want someone to prove me wrong. I want to be wrong.
I am just loving the name of this, and I'm very all for this deck list for sure. Oh, here we are. We have our Josiah Bell. So we have a well-known in Middle Tennessee National Lorcana store. Yeah, right. Winner of a top 8 in almost every store champ I've attended, and top 8 game night 5K twice, or is it a 1K? I can't actually read.
I think it's a 1K twice.
That text is very hard to read. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he shows up and people go, oh, great. Josiah's here and he's going to probably do pretty good. I assume that's my headcanon of what happens but they're probably like, he's nice though. So don't be mean to him. So yeah, that's another lounger. Fun fact about the lounger. Oh, sorry. I can't. I'm too scared, but this is Richard Fuego or Dick Burns. Richard Fuego, I think, is his rather his evil pseudonym, but this isn't the Dick we know and love. This is a different Dick. This is a Dick that's been corrupted.
I don't have anything nice to say about.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I mean,
I'm not going to give this guy any time.
But basically, long story short, he's a puppet. He was forced to. He was poisoned, maybe not poisoned for legal reasons. It wasn't. He drank some tea. Who knows what happened? He's been told he was a scrub. He needed to weigh down the team a bit, so no one complained about blah blah. It's gone. Whatever. Who cares? We don't like talking about it. It's emotional. Well, we got Brandon Nash, and now I feel a little bit better.
This is a great photo.
It is a great photo. Brandon Nash really. I said sometimes you have too many playmats. He said I have too many playmats. But he's in the Lorcana Loungers. He's much less evil and much more easy to talk about. He's got a 4 times 40 point plus finish in DLC Vegas. He's getting all those tickets, taking all the tickets home. He had a day 1 day 1-2 finish in Las Vegas, and he designed a Lorcana fan set. We'll ask him what a day 1-2 finish, maybe day one second place finish.
Is that is that
No, I
like
know, but somebody's
like second
kid
place
is, like,
in
grinding in the
the
background,
like
so you
the
can, like,
competitive
hear it.
side event? That's what my guess is.
I like it. Either way,
my
he's proud of
guess.
it, and we're
Yeah.
proud of him because nobody has that many
I
play
mean,
mats.
those are large tournaments, so like if that's like a second place finish in like one of those 300 player events on Friday, that's definitely a great accomplishment.
Exactly. And this is whoever edits these in Canva needs to read them before they say them. I'm just going to say that whoever might be listening. And then our last matchup is we will have one more lounger and one more villain. And that is Sky from Nebraska. Sorry, is that doxing you? Whatever. You have to go through a whole song of Nebraska.
I don't think you can sing when we're talking about villains.
Villains sing. All of them have a song.
No, not these kind of villains though. You know,
It's true. Sky from Nebraska. Accomplishments? I don't know. Top 16 DLC Chicago. Never heard of it. And also 2 times packed the tournament. This seems mean. Sky's great. I just don't want to play into this.
dirt on.
No, Sky's great. He's nice, and he does a podcast with Luke and Caleb. And Caleb's also the nicest human. It's kind of scary. Everyone that Luke hangs out with is so nice, and then Luke is the way he is. So it's like kind of like, you know the way Luke is, and then you meet Caleb, and
taking jabs when at any point he can say whatever he wants.
My street.
Right? He can just get in your ears whatever.
I'm just kidding. Luke knows that I asked who's nicer, Caleb or Luke, I think he could easily answer that Caleb is a nicer person. He rode every ride in Disneyland because he said he
so much
simply
nicer
wanted
than
to.
me.
Yes, Luke. Yes, it's just.
I love the addition of the Mirabelle in the picture here.
Yep, just a little. You have to do it.
Boom.
To the last player coming in, we have. Are we not going to transition to the last player? We did.
We did them all.
All right.
Yeah, we're
wow.
Good luck,
Let's
buddy.
just watch some play.
You, man.
Let's just. Oh my gosh, that mat is so meta that Mitch has here.
Yeah, and I got really confused by Alex's mat. I'm like, what am I? Do I have to turn it upside down to look at it? I don't.
Yeah, I love it. We're going into the Infinity Castle, but this isn't. No, this is Disney. So we're going into the Disney Castle, and we are going to see both players. They're both playing different decks, so it's not a mirror match. Get excited about that. But other than that, I'm not telling you until you guys see what they're inking. But we know because we are omnipotent.
Mitch is he's gonna do some bending, you know. If there's my one little hint, and Alex is doing what Alex always does, guys. I'm not even sure he knows how to do anything else. It's really all he's got.
He's like, he only has one trick. Sorry, there is a hot mic that you guys can't hear.
Yeah, there is. It is a little loud.
Burger. Someone ate their whole burger, and I'm a little jealous.
Very fair. Very fair.
So, I mean, one of the deck names is a very normal deck name. The
Absolutely
other deck name,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure we're allowed to say this. Can I say this?
Which part of it? The first one or the hashtag?
I mean, the hashtag makes no sense.
It's very confusing.
I know what it means, but I don't understand why it's there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go ahead and see what they mull into. They don't know what they're playing. So in the ICL, what happens is we say, hey, what 3 players are you playing? What order do you want to go in? And then that determines who you play. So you can't do any funky business and be like, well, I know Habibi does this.
Ink of Clarabelle put an island as the ink token into play. So I think everyone watching at home can know what we're playing, right?
Yeah, that was easy, right?
Immediately, I know what we're doing. I do shout out to the Black Border Foil Islands here. They are gorgeous.
Yeah, he's like, I'm playing Lorcana, but I want to flex. I got other cool stuff while I'm here. All right, and then we see a Daisy, a turn 1 darling, but not a darling against every deck. Certainly not fun against character-driven decks, but this Daisy might hit, it might not, though she's positioned against a deck that's not guaranteed to hit a character when she quests.
No, probably on the lower count, I would say, being sub 38 characters. So, a little, like as close to 55% as you're going to get on average. So he's definitely hoping for the best on these Daisy traders. Having the ink double Tala here is quite notable.
Yeah, and now we've the secret's out. Clara's spilling her stuff, and we are spilled the secret. It's Breen or Squirt or Emerald Sapphire, the government name. People have been calling it very upsetting things.
Breen?
Breen. I don't care for it, but people have been saying it.
I'm not a fan.
People been saying it. I'm just reporting the news.
I like to refer to it as Bluebell. That's my
Bluebell.
favorite.
That is quite fun. But
Ooh,
yeah,
we got a turtle. I love the new turtle, guys. He's adorable.
yes,
The
the Troubadour.
Shout out to my TFM Nana. That was her favorite card when opening packs was the Troubadour.
And honestly, he was controversial. The amount of debates about whether he's better than Ursula versus not was hotter than I think the debate needed it to be. But I've seen him in most decks this weekend, so I think people have decided, and the turtle has won.
Yeah, I agree.
Now it looks like, did he hit off of that Daisy? I missed that trigger there.
I did not see it either, sadly.
So
We're too busy talking about the turtle.
I know, we're just like the turtle. Everyone's like, yeah, I don't think we're really worried about whether you like the turtle or not.
Early on here, this is also a pretty good start. It looks like we're kind of deciding here, right? Like we had to ink 2 Grand Matalas. So that's definitely unfortunate. I'm curious on what our turn 3 play is now going to be, knowing that we've already kind of inked our best one on average already twice. And he looks like he's going through the process too. Had to ink up Fleekly. Interesting addition to this list.
It is, and I think.
Ooh, all right, we got a universal Baymax shift. We can handle that.
I love it.
We get
Baymax.
to take out Daisy. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, because he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it in his small form, but then he put on the suit and then he said, "Goodbye, Daisy."
Where's my super suit? Right? Am I right?
I think that's kind of remarkable if you think about it, is like thinking that you could shift a Baymax on a Baymax. You could take 4 damage, shift that Baymax again. That'd be crazy. Why? But it's a nice healing mechanic. And,
yeah, I mean, the full heal definitely comes up. Shifting on shifting is always nice. I think anytime you can get damage on the character like before you shift initially is also a big win.
Exactly.
So, it's a weird mechanic. It's not always going to come up, but when it's relevant, hey, you'll always take free heals.
So we do see a Singer come down. Now, looking at these 2 deck lists, I mean, obviously the nature of Breen, I won't say that again. The nature of Sapphire Emerald is that it's not an archetype that's been solidified in the meta yet. Everything about this deck is being built while we are playing. So Alex probably knows what the general things are, but when you look at Alex's deck, it's kind of, we've seen this song before. There's not a lot of crazy things. There's a couple cards that are new, but it's definitely the hot new spice versus the tried and true song that we love.
I think the interesting thing here is there's a couple of really nice tech cards in this list that might really come out to show in this particular matchup. Emerald Coil is a card that I don't think is seeing a lot of love recently, but Emerald Coil with Peter Pan, Neverland, Prankster, that is really difficult for Amber Steel decks to actually interact with that combination for gaining lore. So we might get to a board state where Alex is just like, how do I finish this game if I can't actually interact with Peter Pan?
Yeah, and for those at home, there's lots of Peter Pan in the world. But this Peter Pan that he's running is Peter Pan Neverland Prankster. So he's a 4/6. He costs a 7 inkable. However, if he can land while this character is exerted, each opposing player can't gain lore unless one of their characters has challenged this turn. So it's basically making you do stuff that you probably didn't want to do otherwise. So unfavorable, especially if you're all floating in the air with a Sapphire Coil or some kind of situation.
We are assembling Exodia currently on Alex's side of the board here, getting Singer 5, Singer... the Turtle Singer 4, right? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, the Turtle is a Singer 4. Yeah, because he's effectively Vanessa, but instead of being a 1/4, he's a 1/3 with resist.
So we're assembling the army here to kind of go off and have some crazy sing tong. But what I really do enjoy is that since Mitch was able to get out early, have 2 sales already, it's already at like 6 ink. So a whole new world here is fine, but realistically, having the extra ink is a pretty big deal for Mitch.
Yeah, and I mean, everything about Sapphire is, I'm going to do what you're doing, but I'm going to do it a little faster than you. So we see Mitch just absolutely swimming in the ink. But we know that this deck combination sometimes likes to drain the waters a little bit. So we'll see if he's running that. I don't want to give it away. He might not be, but you never know these days. I don't like Ink Geyser because I think it's a big problem and it's not fun and you look silly most of the time. But we'll see.
I do love me a nice Clarabelle though.
Yes. Oh, she's beautiful.
We're drawing 2 cards with Clarabelle. Pretty great.
So we're going to go ahead. We now see that Mitch is sitting very comfortably at 7 ink. Meanwhile, Alex is more conservative with his ink, but that's my favorite thing about Amber Steel is that baby don't need a lot of ink to run. Once you get up to about 5 ink, you can do pretty much every single thing you need to do with that deck. So especially when you have 3 singers on the board, because you can effectively do 3 actions and then cast whatever you want to do with that extra ink you have.
Yeah, and see, you can really just see the assembling of this line here. We're gonna have 2 whole new worlds. So we get to whole new world, but we're gonna have Troubadour and Ariel on board to kind of continue the game and move singing forward, which is exactly the type of board that Alex wants. The interesting thing here that we note is with Mitch getting a full 7 cards and having 7 ink available in, you might see a bend to my will kind of like really shut down the game pretty quickly.
Yeah, bend to my will makes me feel not well. I once had someone ink geyser me and then bend to my will 2 turns later with ramping, and I actually thought about never playing the game again. But I have since recovered, and nobody else seems to be doing that because it was not nice. So I did hear someone say they could not hear me. All right, so 1st to 20, are you able to hear me talking? I'm saying lots of really good stuff you're not going to want to miss.
Oh no.
We'll see.
Stuff you're not gonna miss.
Stuff you're really gonna miss. Okay. So all right. So we do see here that it's time to start. So there's this funny addition with Neverland that has been added. We did see a couple of really powerful moves here with World's Greatest Criminal Mind saying, adding Clarabelle. That's one of my favorite songs in the game right now because there's some end game curve cards that are like, I've got it. This Chernobog, nothing can bring it down. And Cinderella's like, I can. So Criminal Mind is very powerful right now. And we saw that the singers sang everything away, leaving it with just a bunch of ink.
Literally removing both threats, establishing the second Neverland, and just like kind of just ruining the game right now. This is not a position at all where a bend to my will is even that good because you're just like yeah, okay, bend to my will. But then he has 6 Lord in play that you can't answer. So definitely a difficult turn now for Mitch here.
Yeah, he has a lot of work to do because, I mean, those Neverlands are so funny because they are truly just speed bumps. But they're speed bumps that you do have to deal with eventually. You can ignore them. They're kind of like little Diablos that you're like, whatever, he's a 0/1, he's questing. And then after like 4 turns, you're like, I probably should have done something about that because it's just passive income or lore gain in this case.
Yeah, Bleakley kind of sending the baby Clarabelle down into the Inkwell as well. So we've definitely established a good amount of ramp, but we're not able to do anything with that ramp just yet.
Yeah. Now, did she discard that? Or I think she's saying the whole new world, correct? So they both have plenty of cards, but obviously one person lost everything, Mitch, and the other person sitting very comfortably with no pain from that.
Yeah, it's also fun to consider like what Singer is and its kind of like pseudo ramp ability. So Alex's board having so much Singer potential, and then compared to just the 9 ink, when we really look at it, Alex has 19 plus ink worth of singing available to him. So it's more than the 9 ink in the Inkwell for Mitch.
It is free. Yeah, I mean, we think about, like you said, it's basically ink just hanging out there. Because, I mean, Gaston and the Troubadour and Ariel, they all quest for 1, but it's a lot nicer to be able to just do some removal, especially because we saw Mitch have some really cool stuff out there with a Clarabelle and a Baymax, and they didn't even need to lift a finger other than to just sing a song and get them out of here.
The Clarabelle didn't even get the quest. All it did was drew 2 cards that got a whole new world away. It effectively did nothing, sadly.
If anything, she accidentally milled those 2 cards. She didn't mean to, but she sent them away.
Now, we do know that Alex did already discard the second A Whole New World to the first one, so it might be a little more difficult for him to go runner as he's trying to control the board here. Inking the Lawrence, which is a nice threat. It looks like we did get to 5 ink there, I believe. This is a great card. Pete is a phenomenal card against the Baja Blast-oriented decks. There's a lot of songs in this deck. There's a lot of actions in this deck. So effectively taking that away from Mitch next turn is basically, it could potentially be taking away half of his hand.
Exactly. And half of his hand, I mean, those items are or those actions that he wants to play are ramping, digging, removal. So it's all things that he wants to be doing right now. And it's especially frustrating knowing that he has just a little grandma Just one grandma. What is she going to do out there? So we shall see if he's able to recover. Now, at this point, though, he is sitting at. Oh, he was just, I think, auditing. Or no, he is counting his ink. Black sleeves are truly my favorite sleeves on stream. They never make me not be able to tell.
Did he run out of islands?
Yeah, maybe he's like, oh, I don't have. I forgot. I'm like, what? Not second deck? What's happening? I'm gonna cry. What's happening? There's judges. Just so you guys know, we have judges on site watching. So anything that's happening is being carefully monitored by a professional.
Yeah, it looked like I guess we just didn't, we decided to play a ramp deck and didn't bring enough islands. I mean, that was just mistake one. That's like a rookie mistake. You hate to see it.
All right, so let's go ahead and
that is one large board for Alex.
And one scared grandma, because like grandma, she did all she could. She's a 3/3, which is nothing to sneeze at, but she can't take out literally anything. Well, she can take one thing, and there's two of the things that she can take out. So we go. Let's see. So now Mitch is sitting there going, "Huh? What do I do? I can't sing any actions. I can't play any actions. What characters am I going to put out there?" Also knowing that Alex has a hand of cards and they are probably songs. When you don't want to be songs, they're probably going to be songs.
I mean, like a Peter Pan can take away 2 lore here, because it can kind of like turn off the locations for a turn, but it's not going to be too difficult for Alex to simply answer said Peter Pan. Aside from that, obviously we get a shift here with a Cricky. That enables, I mean, you can literally banish anything you want to with that line. That's 8 strength, but it's only one thing. So Alex is going to untap here with a lot of lore to be gained.
And I always forget because I'm like, oh, right now there's 4 singers on board. Pete is a singer too. I always forget that, but Pete can sing several favorite songs of his, the hits of Let It Go. No, he can't sing. That'd be really cool. But no, sorry, Let the Storm Rage On. Same song, different lyric. Let the Storm Rage On, and even World's Greatest Criminal Mind. So even if he drops down some kind of meaty Clarabelle again, he still knows that everybody over there can sing some kind of song.
Yeah, it looks like we removed one of the aerials.
Grandma's in the Mecca.
Even with this is right, like all we have to do is turn one of these speeds sideways into the Baymax and then just gain a bunch of lore. It looks like we went to 10 to start, and then you have another 5 in play, plus a full hand to just do whatever you want.
And it kind of shows the nefarious nature of those little Neverlands. Yeah, they are just a 1 cost, inkable, 4 willpower and 1 lore. But if you have to pick, you'd probably want to deal with the singers more than the island, because the island's going to be 1 lore, but the singers could be 1 lore or terrible destruction.
Yeah, it's really funny. I almost, like, in this version of this deck, I almost act as if there's just an additional character cost to the singer. So if Ariel is a 3 cost, it's basically like saying Ariel's a 4, but I have an additional 4 health on this other thing. My Ariel just gets to sing every turn. So I don't get to gain lore with my Ariel, but it's basically protecting this location that's just slowly winning me the game.
Yeah, and because it's a problem, but there's some bigger problems right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to deal 4 damage to the 1 lore thing when you're like, man, this thing has Singer 5. Like, it's doing business to me.
So now we have Lorthel on board, I believe, with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, he has to get rid of at least 1 thing here. Ideally,
aside from Under the Sea, if we had it, I don't know what we can do in this board position. It's pretty rough.
Yeah, I mean, this game had Mitch on his heels the whole time. Even when he had that advantage of having 2 pretty scary characters, it disappeared. All it took was 1 little song, and they went, actually, I'm going to head out.
Yeah, and traditionally, this is not a great matchup for Bend to My Will in general. I think the addition of the locations might even make it worse, which is hilarious. But you could really see Alex's game plan just went, pretty much exactly how he wanted. Singing I just drew a blank there.
We don't talk about Bruno.
Even here, it's like, what are we getting rid of with this? Because if we get rid of one of the one lore characters, you're still just pretty much letting your opponent win the game. I think we're delaying the inevitable in a big way here, and we're not again interacting with these locations. We're just so far behind in this game.
So Cricky went into the Gaston, and then we don't talk about Bruno.
No, I think he sung the "We Don't Talk About Bruno" on the Gaston.
Oh, but doesn't that go? Oh, he doesn't know cards in hand, so that's why he
Yeah,
just goes
he
discard.
doesn't.
Okay, I missed that part. I was like, well, you got to
So
do
this
the
is-
thing in the.
This is nice, right? So we get to play Peter Pan, which means we automatically negate 2 lore from the locations, which is a big deal. And Peter Pan's pretty big, so there's not a great way to actually interact with the Peter Pan in particular, but you can just kind of like run one of your characters in and then gain another 4 lore. Hopefully we drew. If we drew any song that does damage, it's gonna feel pretty great.
And that's such a good point. When you said he negates the lore, I'm like, why? But you're right. Gaining lore, we think about questing, but you gain lore at the start of your turn, and that is not happening. Now he just has 2 silly little islands until that guy's out of here.
Nala definitely not the card off the top that Alex wanted here. Really showcasing how powerful Peter Pan can be. Now, it is noted that we don't have to challenge Peter Pan, so we could run like a Troubadour into a Cricky, which I think is what you're seeing here. And the Troubadour lives, and then the rest of these characters can actually just quest now. So you can still go up to 16 and just understand that maybe the Neverlands are kind of officially turned off for the rest of the game, but it's still going to force Mitch to really interact with Alex's board.
Yeah, you can slow the bleeding, but the bleeding is going to be very hard to stop because, yeah, like you mentioned, Cricky, which is rough because I'd rather quest for 3 with Cricky, but you can't have it all. And this Cricky instead just had to pay the tax to allow.
Yeah, and he even decided to take Cricky out there, which I can totally respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's putting the pressure on firmly and saying, I don't want you to come back from this. In fact, it might be impossible now.
Looks like he's deciding whether or not to quest with the Daisy. He does end up doing it, and whiff. Visions to the bottom there.
Which, let's see, 1, 2, 6, 10, 14, 16, 20, 24 of his deck cards in his deck are not.
Yeah,
characters.
It's like a 55-45 kind of thing. So definitely not a guaranteed. That's for sure.
Especially, yeah, when you go against like an Amethyst deck and they're very happy every time does a Daisy quest because chances are, as long as it's not a strength, they're going to be okay.
So now we can look to kind of get rid of Daisy here, more than likely, just to take the lore off the board in general. And this is again, it's going to negate 2 more Neverland lore. Hades is another great answer here. This is probably going to take the Ariel, is my guess, just to remove the Singer. And then, you're going to only potentially be able to gain 2 lore next turn for Alex, unless he's able to find a way to, a Zeus would be ideal. I think a Zeus could finish off the Peter, but aside from that, really tough. Interesting that he takes the Troubadour over the Ariel there.
Maybe it's personal.
Anti-turtle.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like it. You have resist, and I know that Ariel doesn't. So I guess if we're looking here, Peter Pan swings for 4. I don't know. At this point, the Troubadour only has 1, but maybe he's just not worried about him right now.
Yeah, I just think that for me, like taking the Singer 5 away, at least it's saying like, all right, if he rips a whole new world off the top, he can't play it. Like he has to cast that card. So, Smee's a pretty good pickup. Here, this is the kind of the question again now, like where if we run the Peter Pan, we're only going to gain 1 lore, 2 more lore, which puts us to 18, and we likely aren't going to untap with those 3 characters at this point. So it's definitely a difficult point where your Smee might not even be able to quest next turn. So it might actually be better to sit back and do nothing this turn and force Mitch to have like a song, like a "You're Welcome" or something like that to interact with Alex's board.
Yeah, it'd be a great time for a repeat, but unfortunately we don't have a repeat.
Yeah.
So instead, yeah, he just has to kind of say, I don't know, you make the choice. It's kind of frustrating that Peter Pan still has to hang out, but it's not so bad. Like you said, I mean, at the end of the day, his board is still pretty healthy. And Mitch is just still sitting at 4 lore. So it won't take much of a shift to just finish out that 4. Although I'm trying to think, are there any? The only thing you could have is if he had the Cinderella slipper package where you throw a slipper into the garbage for 2 lore, but that's quite a lot for 2 lore.
It's also the spaghetti dinner. This is a running joke that I've heard a bunch of recently. But Spaghetti Dinner could totally not gain lore on this board because Peter Pan still negates it unless you challenge.
Gosh dang it. Spaghetti, please.
This is an interesting play here by Alex. This is basically saying you have to answer one of my ready characters now. Because if you don't, then I can challenge and simply just gain 4 lore.
Oh, so he says I won't.
He doesn't have it. I mean, I think in his list, we only had You're Welcome. We have You're Welcome. We don't talk about... Wow, he actually had a lot of options. I'm actually shocked we didn't find one.
Yeah, I think it's just because, I mean, after the Let It Go, he had to focus so heavy on rebuilding his board that it's possible he missed that maybe he inked some of those songs too, because all of his songs are inkable. And at a certain point, you got to have some kind of board to deal with Alex's side.
Yeah,
but
it looks like we had 15 like spot removal cards in the list. So kind of crazy that we had 5 or 6 cards in our hand there at the end of the game and didn't have one. Because honestly, just removing the SME is pretty powerful. If you can remove the SME, finally start questing, you've already negated the Neverlands for the rest of the game for them pretty much. So that could have been a turn where if we had an answer, it would have been a really nice turn to be like, all right, let's get this off the board, gain 4 lore, gain 5 lore, and kind of start progressing the game to where maybe we can actually turn it around.
One other thing looking at this deck list combo is we know that Mitch is going first now. However, even going first, he only has 4 1-cost cards in his deck. So we just know that Seal Song, especially one that has both Daisy and Cinderella and Nala and Wonderland. That's Welcome to Wonderland. Sorry, Neverland. It makes it where the tempo can go so fast. If missing that turn 1, it can be really, really hard in a deck like Alex's, where those are cards you can't let sit there. You have to do something about. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how that plays out.
So ideally, there isn't really a good 1-cost for this deck. Even the Clarabelle on average is not a 1-cost. Very often you actually play it on turn 5, where you actually play it and shift in the same turn because you're normally on 6 ink on that turn. So while it's nice to have it out early if you can do something with it, it's also kind of a liability in this matchup. We don't really want to put Clarabelle into play early because they have infinite removal for it, and we really, on average, need the shift line. So you kind of got to stay away from those anyway. But this is kind of just the problem with this matchup, is that it's not a favorable matchup. Alex played it really well last game, all the way even to the check turn on the final turn of the game, where he specifically had to play to that route and say, hey, you have to have it. So this is just really difficult. I think ideally Mitch needs to have his runner lines into a bend of my will before Alex can ever really get set up.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think with this meta, we effectively now have 2 Cinderellas, where one is like a beefier, scary Cinderella. So I personally am too afraid to do. I can't sit there. And I know that's like a terrible me problem, that I can't wait and be patient, but it's stressful. You have to just really hope that it all plays out and that they don't just sing all your cool stuff away like we saw last time.
Yeah. I think that this deck is in a really awkward position in the metagame. I think it plays really well into the control matchups, but these aggressive song lists or even like aggressive character lists, it's a little tough to kind of get away with this list. It's part of the like problems with it of like having to choose between Ink Geyser, Bend to My Will, and even Under the Sea. So all 3 of those choices are like, which one do I do? Which metagame am I going to face? And even in a game like this, like you have no idea who you're playing against round 1. You don't have any idea what they're going to be playing. It's just kind of luck of the draw.
Yeah, and as we see here, I mean, Alex was on the draw, and yet it's almost like he was on the play, because whatever character he plays now is in the crosshairs of Cinderella. But luckily, he's like, I won't do it. I'll just go ahead and sail the Azurite Sea, maybe with a cow, but maybe the Cinderella without anything to sing on to is a little less scary, but she's still sitting there menacing.
Getting rid of the double Pleakley there. Pleakley also a very interesting addition to this deck. Specifically, it's looking probably to ink Tipo on average, is my guess. I will say what a cool thing that it can happen. I don't know how great this is on average, but you can actually like play your Tipo into your Baymax and then maybe get like a free challenge with your Baymax and then a quest with your Baymax. And you can Pleakley and actually put both cards in your Inkwell, which is pretty interesting, like as a turn 4 play. I don't know how common that line will come up for him, but the first time I saw the Pleakley, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool if we want to kind of just like buy back our character real quick for 2 more ink.
So this is a good move to protect possibly. Oh, okay. He says, I got this song here. I got this one here. So all bad stuff. Because even if he gets rid of one song, and he will, Ariel's like, I'm gonna get another.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
On average, we take the Inkable song here. Also noteworthy that the Let the Storm Rage On can't banish our Ursula, so that's important.
Yeah, and really the only target could possibly be something like a Tipo that would be scary with the Let the Storm Rage On.
The
Pleat
here too, following up with the vision to kind of like dig out to shape his next turn, which is nice.
Exactly. Yeah, that the filtering and getting to exactly what you need can be very important because he now knows everything that Alex is probably going to do. He's like, okay, it's not a super spicy list. It's just removal and singing and giant boards.
Yeah, I mean, gaining the information of Alex's hand is really important to kind of make the best decision off this vision.
Yeah, and he also saw the Pete, which means that his time might be short for how long he can do something like that.
Sure.
All right, so we do see moving in here to his third turn. Oh, one thing I was going to say, so that Pleakley, for people who don't know, it's when you play this character, basically you could not cannibalize. That's not a Disney term. You don't cannibalize, but essentially you turn the character into ink, which now is making me start to think that like Sapphire is now the recycling ink color. It's constantly like, I'm going to turn this into card draw, and I'm going to turn this into ink, and I'm going to get this back from my discard. And it's now just like the most recycling friendly and most scary ink color because of that. It's because you're constantly just going, well, it's okay. I'll turn it into a card, or I'll turn it into ink.
It certainly is an everything bagel. It has a lot to offer for basically anyone.
Yes. Yeah. Does it do healing? Is there any healing?
Yeah,
Good.
There is.
Great.
Grandpappy, hello, shout
well,
out.
We're waiting for the Grandpappy meta. It's any day now. The Amber Sapphire will rise. It's not set 7, maybe set 8.
Oh, I love Grandpappy, but I don't know.
I just love Grandpappy because I think of GDZ said I'm canceled. Okay, first off, whatever. If that's the reason I got canceled, I'll take it. I'll stand there on Disney trial and go, I'm sorry. Is it illegal to try to use the English language?
What's even funnier is that I can see him laughing at you while he's typing. I think that's my favorite part.
He's going, I'm going to add fuel to the fire. It's like the time B Squared tried to get me canceled. You guys are all coming for me, and I'm wearing a blazer. I have a pin. Anyway, all right. So we got more songs
with that pig. All right, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, right. I did. I cursed myself. I'm sorry. I forgot to feed him, and that's why things are bad. Bad things are happening.
So here we are. We have the Tala kind of setting up. Looks like it took a Let the Storm Rage on there from the Cinderella. Last turn did play a strength, got rid of the Ursula. Now shooting the Tala. So now even if Tala runs into Cinderella, it still gets banished, guys. Cinderella's so good.
She really is. I mean, she is before there was Belle, there was Cinderella, and Cinderella is just a problem. And yeah, but the thing is even if you get rid of her, she's already served her purpose. So now we have bigger and more sweaty problems to deal with. Now Alex is inking of World's Greatest Criminal Mind, which makes sense because there's really nothing that can hit in. I lied. That's the opposite.
So Bianca, for anyone that's not seen this character yet, is the 6-cost 5/5 that's inkable, but you can pay 2 less to play this card if you have an ally in play.
Yeah, and this deck has several allies. Now, the princesses are not allies, but Smee is an ally. Ironically, Lawrence is an ally, which you've seen that movie. He's not. So I guess it's from the perspective of before. He's even doing something kind of evil in the picture, but he is an ally. So there's several allies in this deck, which means you're probably going to get to do this.
Yeah, it's also the core reason why the deck has shifted to playing the Troubadour over Vanessa.
Yes. Oh yeah, because that Vanessa, that is not an ally. 100%. She bad lady. So Troubadour, he's a good buddy.
And the best part about Bianca, guys, stats.
So yeah, the stats on Bianca is a 5/5. So she is a little mouse with big beating stats. She's pretty much able to deal with a lot of problems on the other side of the board. Yeah, notably a little crab.
She's also a fine singer herself.
That's true. They all sing over there. It's a musical family.
Yeah. Oh, there's our shift action.
Get in the suit, Grandma.
We got the heal, and then we get to take out what I assume is the aerial. So we did.
Grandma in her suit just went. That's what I'm imagining. Is Grandma's in there, and she mad.
This universal shift coming up twice now. Really good use of the character for sure.
It is a very fun card. I mean, it's a cool mechanic where, shift. One of the downsides is, you're like, I got this old beat up character. Now I have a new beat up character. And Baymax says, no, don't worry. But we do get to see some healing here, which is another benefit of Bianca, is because big bodies can take big damage. And in this case, I believe she got to draw.
Mr. Smee had some damage.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm theoretically.
Yeah.
The camera quality is hard. But yeah, Smee's another one where, I mean, anything like Smee, Bianca, and Lawrence are just there to be like, I can help you draw cards, Rapunzel. Sacrifice me. But we do see. Yeah, I think you're about to say what I'm about to say about the card that was just inked.
Yeah, it was interesting that we decided to ink that card rather than easily removing the Baymax.
The second time too. He has not infinite in his deck at the maximum of 4, and 2 of them are in the inkwell. So we're just hoping that Clarabelle is not out there, or maybe Bianca's like, don't worry, I'll work on her.
Oh, we got a Zeus. It's fine.
Yeah.
I guess we have to make choices between inkables and non-inkables, so it all plays out the right way.
Yeah, when you have songs that deal 5 damage, it's a little less stressful.
Yeah. A lonely Tipo here to untap for Mitch.
It is kind of deja vu, isn't it? Because we look at this board state, we look at the score, and then we look at this little baby standing there in a diaper, and we're like, well, this isn't good.
Yeah.
It's almost as if, World's Greatest Criminal Mind on Clarabelle. I mean, how afraid are you? I mean, how many cards does Alex even have in his hand at this point?
Just one. Yeah, like paying 7, playing like full cost for Clarabelle there to draw 1 card. It's pretty rough for sure. But I will say, like the 2 inked World's Greatest Criminal Minds, if we were able to keep one of those in our hands to still have right now, I think the game would just be like flat over.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because Clarabelle.
The question becomes like how badly did we need to get the Daisy in play last turn? Like I think that's kind of the answer here. Is like, do we think the clock would have changed much if we just don't play Daisy this turn? If we found a way to play it this turn, who cares? Honestly, who cares? We just have let the Storm Rage on and Zeus. It doesn't matter, guys.
Yeah. Now I have seen a combo that I really, really like, and I'm wondering if he kind of regrets not having it in his deck right now. And I'm not going to ask him. Do you regret not having this really cool combo? But Sapphire Coil plus Cloud Kicker and Under the Sea is really cool. And man, think about the damage Under the Sea could have done against this little weenie lineup with a Sapphire Coil. I won't ask that because that's not nice. But have you seen that work together?
Well, it's kind of like I said, it's the problem with building this deck right now is that
where do you want to go?
The metagame, has 12, 13, 14 different decks that have been successful in some fashion, and it's very hard to target all of them. So like Mitch is not necessarily targeting this matchup at all. And it's hard to blame him for building the deck the way he did, because in all honesty, I don't expect Amber Steel to be like one of the more popular decks.
It's definitely fallen in favoritism just because it's a bold choice and it's not always great. But we do see Alex takes game 1 with he takes 1 point home for club.
That was game 2.
Well, sorry, round 1. Sorry, round 1. Sorry, nomenclature. He won round 1 with against the Lorcana Loungers. But we're going to go ahead and do interview, which means I'm going to look really distracted while I try to find the buttons that do that. But don't worry. This is just me thinking real hard. Here we go. I'm in.
Hiya.
So how we feeling after that set there, Mitch?
I mean, sometimes your opponent draws multiple Petes and you just lose the game. That's the nature of this. This is the nature of this format, If you play actions at all, sometimes your opponent goes, "Oops, Pete."
Well, I mean, you point out.
Can we point out? I'm gonna let you. We have yet to reveal the name of your deck list, but because of what you just said, I think it is perfect for you to now say it.
Yeah. I mean, my deck was called Beat the Pete #ban Black Lotus. So it's supposed to be pretty good against Pete because I don't really care too much for my actions, and I have a lot of character-based ways to interact with like Baymax, Cricky, Hades, Pleakley even is just like I wanted to play a bunch of cards that are bigger than all of the 3/3s that people are playing. So it does really well into blue steel, but if you take your opponent's strength and they find another one, it's a bad time for everybody. Or if they just chain Pete's into your wheeled all action hand, it's just a bad time. It nothing against my opponent by any means. He played well. Wochuk's obviously a superstar. I just drew poorly, and that's just the way that it goes with green blue. That's what you said before.
Oh, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. There's a little bit of delay, so I apologize. But one of my things, if we were talking about before we jump to you, is that you have to build this deck based on a very unpredictable meta. We're only in week 2. So what did you have in mind as you built this deck and tailored it towards your theoretical meta that this was built for?
So I was basically going, I'm gonna play a deck that beats blue steel and red blue. And the red blue cannot beat the card Bend to My Will. They just have no way to deal with that. If you go Clarabelle, untap, Bend to My Will, they just lose the game.
Agreed.
So my thought process was, okay, I only have to play like 10 cards that beat blue red, 4 Clarabelle, and 2 Bends, and I've beat blue red. Now I'm going to tailor the other 50 cards to try to beat all of the free 3/3s and 4/4s that everybody's playing. And one of the cards that I think is really powerful right now against their strategy is Ursula Deceiver, because it just rips the song out of their hand and makes their Black Lotus just a 3/3 that made them discard a card. So it was, I mean, it's a theoretical idea. I basically didn't want to play the Muses because the Muses is a bad card, and I just wanted to play a bunch of cards that interacted well underneath a Pete. But you know, unfortunately, again, the nature of the blue-green deck is that sometimes, even though you are only playing like 20 actions or so, they still draw 2 Petes in a row, and you have 4 actions in your hand, and you just kind of lose.
Yeah, it's tough. I think the deck's like in a really poor position in general because there's so much to plan for, and it's so very easily for you to like guess correctly. And we have a different, totally different type of game. But I feel like this matchup, even just the 2 Neverlands in game 1, you just like never had any ability to like prevent them from gaining lore. I think they gained 8 lore, if I remember correctly. And then like the Peter Pan came in and you were pretty close. I was very shocked at the end of the game that you didn't like you had 15 spot removals for Smee and you just couldn't find one. That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a bad spot for sure. But I mean, it is what it is. I didn't want to play blue red. Blue red is boring,
Yeah.
so I didn't
No,
want to
that's
just
fine. That's
be another
fine.
person playing it.
You're a maverick,
Yeah.
and that's okay. We need you in this meta.
Yeah, it's so difficult to get it right, Like that's the problem. It's like, there's just too much to plan for.
Yeah.
Now we will go to Alex, whoa, it's Chuck. I imagine.
Hi,
is how he-
friends.
Yeah, hello. Hi, friends. So you're in a good mood. So how did that feel when you saw those 2 colors? Were you afraid of anything, or are you just like, no, Steel Song can't go wrong?
I mean, like traditionally, it's a great matchup for me, but blue green has like some of the sickest combos it can pull. It can pull the fast Clarabelle, dump your hand, draw a ton of cards. It can pull the Bend to Your Will and put you at nothing. It can pull the Under the Sea to just like leave you with no board. And just literally both games, he didn't have any of those at any point. And when he did finally have them in his hand, I had back-to-back Petes. So it ended just being characters against characters when I have character removal. So when the games go like that, when he never hits the combo or gets Peted during the combo, yeah, the games are going to look like that.
Yeah. Very tough. Very one-sided. Early on in the metagame, how are you feeling about Bianca?
Bianca is great. Like literally every deck I'm brewing right now is Bianca. I'm brewing Steel Song Bianca, obviously, Blue Steel Wheel with Toulouse. If you know what Toulouse is, it's a 1/3
Yeah.
ally, and so turn 2 Sail into a Toulouse lets you do turn 4 Bianca into Wheel. I'm trying Red Steel allies with Bianca because Red Steel's big downside is it has no draw engine. But when you have a Bianca on 4 into a Wheel, now you have a draw engine. Like I'm loving Bianca. Just the opening up Wheel for all the steel decks is insane.
And stats. Don't forget stats.
Yeah, she's a big
much.
girl.
She is thick, as the kids would say.
She's thick with 2 C's.
Two
But
Cs.
that was a very exciting matchup. We're so excited to have you. This is your first time on Whoa Chuck. So I'm sorry. I feel like I have to say it like that. I'll just say it, Whoa Chuck.
That's the way to say it, actually.
That is
Yes.
okay. Good. I'm glad I got the dialect and pronunciation right. But before we say goodbye, what kind of shout outs do you have? We'll start with you, Mitch. Are there anyone you want to thank? Any shout outs?
I just thank my team, the Loungers, for letting me play and spew some blue green at everybody.
Good. Yes. Oh, question for you. How do you feel about the names that have come out? Baja Blast, Bleen, Squirt Spurt, or just Emerald Sapphire?
Oh man.
I mean, I'm a longtime Magic player, so I call this Simic all the time because that's what the
Wow,
color
a
combination
new
is.
option, and it's even more
Yeah,
confusing.
That's all I do is just call it Simic, like Simic Clarabelle, Simic Muses, whatever.
I'm glad
So,
you reminded me. What happened with the islands? We ran out of islands?
Yeah.
No, I was told that I was not allowed to play with islands because they're not a licensed Disney property or something. So I flipped
Okay,
them over.
okay. That's fine. I didn't. We didn't know in the booth.
Yeah.
We didn't know in the booth.
Yeah, I
We
thought
didn't
you're
know in
like
the booth.
you forgot you had that much ink. You're like, wow, this deck has a lot
No,
of ink. That
I
makes
have
more sense.
20. I have 25 islands. So
Okay.
if I ever get to that point, there's a problem.
Okay, fair.
I'd like to point out I did not come up with the name of the deck. That deck was said live on stream by Brandon B Squared, who is very wholesome. So if anybody wants to think that somebody should be canceled, it's Brandon. But anyway, to the next. Alex, what about you? Anyone you want to shout out, thank, or try to get me canceled? Whatever. What do you want?
Sure, let's shout out my team. Let's shout out the South Florida Discord. And let's do a special birthday shout out to Zach Bivens. If you guys didn't know, Zach Bivens' birthday today, so happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, Bivens, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Oh yeah, St. Patrick's Day too. There we go. Let's
I
do
didn't
that
know
one.
that. So yeah, happy birthday to Bivens and go wear green and eat whatever that is. Corned beef? Sure.
Corned beef, yeah, it's delicious.
Yeah. I'm sure all of you have that in the kitchen. Just go heat it up.
Very, very salty though.
Well, thank you both so much for being first round. Always great to have you guys on. And now we can go into round 2. So thank you again.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yes.
everything.
Thanks, guys.
So now
I think she got it. She's coming
I
back.
got it.
There, she's back. She's back. We reeled her back in.
Yes.
All right.
I
Dan,
was
do the
ranting
whole
about
thing
how I have
again
to go defend
where
myself from
everyone
getting
can hear
canceled.
you.
Yeah, I was like, I have to go fight everyone on the internet to save my reputation. That's my plan. But before we say goodbye, Dan, do you have anything you want to say?
Always a pleasure to join the ICL. Really nice to kind of get in here and watch these games. I wish they were a little bit longer. We could have a little bit more fun, but sometimes it's Disney Lorcana, and that it just goes that
Yeah,
way.
just like, let's get out. I gotta go eat.
So,
So
but yeah, always a pleasure. Thanks, guys, so much. Wonderland posted my link tree already. If you guys don't know me, I'm TFM Dan from the Forbidden Mountain, and I had a blast. Thank you.
yes,
for having
absolutely. If you're trying to get into the meta, lock in, subscribe to the Forbidden Mountain. They're gonna feed you all the knowledge and then even make you laugh sometimes if they got this Dick Burns. Not the Dick Burns you're gonna see next, the good Dick Burns, a very different one. But both of us are in the link tree. Go ahead and find us. But in the meantime, we got 2 very exciting hosts coming on. We got the wickedly talented JDZ Quest, and with him is a person that I forgot to look up before I started talking.
It's
Meyer. It's Meyer. The madness of Meyer. I'm sorry, I was hit by Meyer madness. So anyway, goodbye.
Oh, we are in, and the madness is spreading. Mad Dog Madness. I didn't know you were going to be here tonight. Yo. It's good to be back and locked into the dojo with you again, my friend. How have you been?
Man, it's been good. It's good to be back with you. Last time we were on together, we did, what was that, like a 9-hour cast for ETB? That was, and talk about a stellar event too, man. That was awesome. So
I loved it. I had an absolutely fantastic time, but we are back on the ICL for another fantastic evening. We have the Villain Club. We have villainous Dick Burns back at it again. And he's going to be facing off against the Lorcana Loungers, I believe, with Josiah Bell coming up. Do you know anything about these players? Do you know anything about their strategies and what their tendencies are?
I've got to admit, Josiah Bell, I do not know. And I saw you looking for deck lists in the chat as well, and I do not have them. Did you?
Okay.
Is
I
this
got
a
him.
mystery?
I did get him, but still, I think playing
Hey.
it fast and loose with a little bit of mystery, a little bit of intrigue might go a long way. I think the players
I'm
are
all
hosting
for
up.
it. I'm all for it.
But it does look like there's going to be. I'll give you some colors. It's going to be some amber steel, and there's going to be some amber green. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a fantastic match of ICL action. So make sure you don't touch that dial. Hit the follow button. And lock in for some high profile Lorcana action. And it looks like the villainous Dick Burns is going to be going first. That isn't correct, is it? I think.
I mean, he's
okay.
Josiah is going first. Okay.
Got it. Because here in the ICL, if you don't know, for those at home watching it, whoever loses the previous round, the team they get to decide to play draw for that next round. I think there's a nice little wrinkle they added to this thing, but I'm ready to go. I think the players are ready. They're shuffling up. Myers, are you ready?
Man, I was born ready. We've got an awesome game. Last time I was on ICL, I actually got to cast Dick Burns. He was on Steel's Song, and that was a good time. But look at these mats here real quick. Over here on Dick Burns, just Dick rules? Is he amping himself up? Like, did he sign his own mat? What's going on with that?
That does. I think narcissism and pride are some key attributes of a villain. So I wouldn't be
Yeah,
surprised
hey,
if you're on the team villainous. If you're on the team villain, you probably I can see you getting away with something like that. As we're looking like we're getting ready to go, we only sent back a few. Actually sent back quite a few. You're holding on to just one card from the hand. I didn't get to quite see the hand, and also that shuffle that Dick Burns does. That is definitely the way a villain would shuffle right there.
that is a villain shuffle. Yes.
So it seems like they've been getting some training over there. They're in Evil Academy over there with with the Lorcana villain out here training these guys up, because that's definitely a textbook evil shuffle. And it seems like, I don't know, that mat though, that mat that Josiah Bell has, that seems quite
that is an interesting mat for sure. So you might be onto something with the shuffle, because I'm pretty sure Wochuk also riffle shuffles like that. So I think you're onto something.
It might be. I think that's you gotta shuffle like that to be on the villain team. But you do show a little bit of sportsmanship, drawing and sliding. I think that is a TCG staple, indicating that you are not trying to draw more than one card at a time. And you'll start with inking the Ursula, and then you'll show your beautiful Forbidden Mountain tokens. What do you think about that, Lorcana villain, as he's representing multiple organizations here in the ICL?
Well, first off, I think it's very villainous to even use ink tokens, right? But besides that, you gotta love the sleeves, right? Those are pretty. But representing, he's on villains, but that's a TFM ink token, right? So it's all villainous. It's just very villainous, the whole thing.
I agree. As we're going to go ahead and send the Calhoun down. So now you'll have the energy to check this Daisy that next turn. And you did show that you had the Ursula going to the ink port early. So maybe it's going to be a turn to Ursula, as it's going to be Amber Emerald versus Amber and Steel. What do you think of this matchup? I know you play some Amber Steel yourself. You're kind of an aficionado. What do you think about this matchup in your experience?
I think it's going to be double Daisy's a rough start. It's going to be interesting because, this green yellow there, I'm assuming he's running, this Lady and the Tramp kind of hyper ramp to get the Tramp into the Chernobygs. And when we look at Josiah Bell's, we see that Calhoun, it looks like a location deck. So if he's not on World's Greatest Criminal Minds, which the more traditional versions are, he doesn't have any way to handle a big Chernobygs. Even handling the 2/6 Tramp could be difficult. So I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how this more location kind of aggro list handles the pure aggro combo that Dick Burns is going to throw down here. What do you think? Who do you think has the upper hand?
I do agree. I think if it was more of a traditional Steel Song deck, like the ones that play, songs and characters that can actually challenge and banish, excuse me, and board fight a bit, I would put it on the Amber Steel. But there are no songs in his deck. There's going to be no way to continue to aggress these little characters. You're going to have to lean heavy on these Calhouns and this John Silver to do some serious work. But it could be a good matchup for the villainous team here, as it's going to be on Dick Burns to make a movement after your Daisy was dispatched of quite easily by Calhoun, gain some lore in the process.
And it's one thing, if you're Josiah Bell, you kind of have an idea of what's in Dick Burns' hand right now, because where he quested with that Daisy, that tells you that there's probably no Tramp in that hand of his, because when you're playing Tramp, you want those characters down, right? So you can do the massive combo. And so that's kind of, you got to be feeling pretty good right now if you're Josiah. If you have a location in hand, this deck that Dick Burns is on has no way to handle a John Silver, and he's not doing a lot of damage with his characters to answer locations either. So this is going to be really interesting. It's a good start right now for Josiah to really take this one away, being on the play as well.
I fully agree with you. And just like you mentioned earlier, in the inverse, in villainous deck, in Dick Burns' deck, there are not a lot of heavy challenging characters either. There are a lot of zeros and a lot of ones in there. So when those locations start to stack up, you can't get them out in a pretty effective manner. So this is going to be coming down to a stretch that you do the location spam, and John Silver is going to quest heavy for a total of 3 with resist too. Yeah, that thing is basically a permanent fixture to this board now until you can clear those locations. Don't even think about going anywhere near the alien space pirate.
Yeah, that is a lot of resist for not a lot of damage coming from Dick Burns. they have cool things like that. I think that's Merryweather. That's the
Mhm.
fairy. She can, add damage, but it's just not going to be enough for a Daisy to hit a 2 resist John Silver.
Yeah.
So
And
rough.
John Silver hits back hard too. He's hitting back with 3 as well. So he's clearing basically everything in this deck except for the Rapunzel. But you do get some tremendous value from the Rapunzel
Yeah.
either way, as Daisy's going to give you 3. And Merryweather is looking like you're just going to try to start questing here and seeing if that's going to be good enough. I would probably start plugging some damage to these locations to at least give yourself the opportunity to clear them. Because this John Silver is going to turn into a T1000 real quick and just start annihilating all your character if you want it. Or you can just run this race and just win. More locations here could be the end of the game.
It's wild that Josiah's he hasn't even quested with John Silver, already at 13. And right now, if he plays another location, oh my goodness, just like that. Oh man,
You're up at 17, and this thing is powerful. Oh my
and
goodness.
here's a Calhoun, and he's only on 3 ink. 3 ink right now, just enough to play John Silver. Oh, wild. Oh man.
And this is looking rough, and it's supposed to be the aggro deck on Dick Burns' side, but it seems like Josiah just absolutely got the cards he needed in the correct order, and those locations are gaining some passive lore as well. So you get some ROI residual on your income, and I don't think there's a card in your deck that can clear this situation. So I think you might just have to go ahead and pack it up and hope for clearer tides coming into game number 2, as that went by super quick. Mad Dog, I feel like we just sat down. We barely even got a chance to stretch out there.
That was over in just over 5 minutes. Maybe the villain is Bell.
Maybe. Man, Dick Burns got kind of dispatched up. I don't know if this matchup is quite good for Dick Burns. Now I look at these deck lists again, and if you guys want to see these deck lists, make sure you hang out till after the stream and check the Twitter or check the X and follow the ink decks and things like that. These deck lists will be readily available. But you'll look at it, and the only thing that can really come after these locations pretty effectively is going to be that Prince Philip and maybe the Chernobog, because Chernobog has everything else is literally 1 or 2, and that's it. Oh, you got the Lady as well sitting at the 4/4, but I think the damage is going to be done by the time you get Lady onto the field if it goes like it just went last turn. So it seems like Josiah's deck is just built a little bit faster, and I don't know. So what do you think? What do you think Dick Burns can do this time to not have that happen again?
Oh man, I think, like you said, he doesn't have anything really to damage into those. Like This deck runs all those big butt characters, right? Because it wants to survive Blue Steel's song, right? That's the whole goal of what's happening, because Blue Steel has a hard time handling the 4 butt characters into the Tramp, that it being a 2/6, into the 9/9 Chernobogs. But unfortunately, you can't do a lot to locations when you're a 0/4 character or even a 1/4 Daisy. So I think you just go hard to get Chernobogs? What else do you do?
You might have to go all in on the combo, but you also play this Tramp. Maybe if you can flood your board and bring out a big Tramp play, he basically can do like a Cricky style effect. And power up the rest of your characters. Maybe that could be strong enough to swing on these locations. But if they get set up, man, that John Silver is questing for 4/4/4. It's going to be a rough out for Dick Burns, as that shuffle. Every time I see it, I cringe a little bit. I think of those poor cards that are sleeved up in there, and I just feel bad for him, man. And it just kind of hurts my spirit when I see people doing that to those cards. But shout out to Dick Burns, and they're his property. You can do with them what you will, but pure evil right there.
Yeah, I can't imagine. It does break my heart a little bit. But hey, to each their own. Maybe that's the best way to get an actual, full on shuffle, right? Maybe he's just onto it and he knows what's up.
I'd rather just brick, man. Just let me brick, dude. If that's what I got to do, I'd just rather just brick, man. Honestly.
Oh, I'm with you. 100%.
Okay. But no. As we'll try to get the Merryweather down into the Inkwell, so that is one of your power modulating cards. You're going to just go ahead and get rid of that early, and let's see if it's even worth going for this Daisy Duck again, because that bad girl backfired on you last time, and it will. And you will go ahead and spam Daisy, kick it back on over to Josiah. Okay.
I mean, I think in this location, man, I've seen this location deck recently. It was maybe it was the Southside Games, but I think they run something like 16 locations, and they probably still run. They'll let the Storm Rage on its strength. I'm not. Am I on the right track?
I think not in this build. I'm just looking at it
No,
now.
just
Again, these decks
okay.
there are no. All you got is straight locations and guys, and that's it. There are
All
no
right.
actions, no
Yeah.
items, no nothing. You got
So
places and people, and that's it.
all right. I mean, so Daisy's probably gonna draw you something, right? But at the same time, like you're still gaining lore. Like, what else do you play? You know, a 0/4 that quests for 1.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's
Yeah,
it's rough.
at least Daisy can effectively do something to a location, or
Mm-hmm.
if you have it up, maybe you can get that Rapunzel trap established like you did last time. You got some tremendous Rapunzel value from your Daisy just being on the board. So maybe even if it's not questing, it still has tremendous value just being there sometimes. As you are going to get the Little John into the Inkwell as well. And then let's see if we rip this Daisy, as we'll go Piglet Pirate, and we will quest this Daisy, and Daisy will reveal a dock. Hate to see it. As
Yep.
now that's going to fuel your spam here. If you can set up another huge ink turn location into a dock chain, that could also be quite dynamic as well.
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing going on here is Piglet's a great card, but not when there's a Captain Hook on the field. Like he could just sit here and do nothing, which would probably be the better play. And then next turn, he has an easy out for Piglet, and you just leave a 1/4 character that feed me characters. Sure.
I know, but those two do add up. As if you do leave the Daisy readied, yeah, I think you're correct. Now we got the Calhoun beside the Captain Hook. I think questing it, you don't even need to. You probably could just let that thing sit there for a while, and it looks like you will put some damage into the Daisy here. Just trying to get something going with it. That might be a little dangerous, as now your deck doesn't have any actions in it.
Mm-hmm.
You could just leave that Daisy there and wait for the Rapunzel to come in, and that's 3 free cards. So let's see.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how Dick Burns breaks this one down.
Yeah, I mean, it's again just even the quest by itself, right? Or not the quest, but challenging into the Daisy. Sure it gives Rapunzel value, but at the same time, he's not questing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not questing, that gives you time to get down these locations, to get down the John Silver again, and kind of go at the same game plan as last turn. Like he effectively has shut down the questing if he does have a Rapunzel in hand. And if he doesn't have a Rapunzel in hand, then Josiah Bell now has the knowledge. Because if he doesn't quest here, then that tells Josiah he doesn't have Rapunzel. And or now that he didn't quest, Josiah knows there's a Rapunzel now. So just knowledge in general.
Okay. I like that. So a little bit of gamesmanship from both players, sending that hook in on a fact-finding expedition just to save yourself to quality lore. Now Calhoun is up, pretty much being able to check down this board. You weren't even able to quest with the Pooh Piglet Pirate, as now we've dropped down to about 14 frames per second. No big deal. We're going to get there, as the Bayou and what is that over there? Oh, we're going full location.
All
Spam.
of the
Look at
location.
that. All of them are
goodness. And this is always rough too, as the frames catch up, as you said, because now we saw this in Wochuk's version of Amber Steel, right? These locations just kind of do their thing, gaining you passive lore, and they just kind of break parity at the same time for Josiah Bell, because if Dick Burns can no longer kind of just sit there and build up this big board and ignore Calhoun and then quest, in a really big turn, now he has to worry about, do I turn sideways to hit the location so John Silver doesn't come down? Like there's a lot to comes into play with that. Like those 3 locations is a massive turn for Josiah.
Correct, man. Yeah, if he doesn't do anything, if he just stays ready, you can just sit back and just collect your free victory just from the locations alone. It's Calhoun, Jane Lynch over here doing a fantastic job holding down the board position, inspiring Captain Hook, and they're just kicking it, waiting on you to exert, and then whoever you exert is going to get completely ruined out of just ran off the table. So, and yeah, Dick Burns is just forced to kind of just stay here because your character is just so weak. You hate to see it, as these locations are just gaining free value as the turns go by.
Yeah. Now we did see Dick Burns. He did pull the Tramp off, so Tramp does come into play next turn. So I don't know how many cards he has in hand though, but we might see the Tramp digging for the Chernobyls next turn. So that would be pretty big for him. Just the 2/6 body offers so much. But so we'll kind of see what happens, in this next turn for Dick. Are we going to see the Tramp Chernobyls combo come down?
you might have to get on that Chernobog immediately, because you can get a 9/9 guy down. Then Calhoun isn't so scary anymore. You know, you can have a guy that can take down these locations, turn after turn after turn, and just completely waylay this entire board, as Rapunzel is going to come on in, gaining another card, as we just dropped down to about 8 frames per second there. We did see the Rapunzel spawn in, and it's gonna happen there. Shout out to Josiah Bell for the internet connection, and everyone at home hanging out with us. We're bringing you guys the live action content as we can in the ICL. Just slow and steady is going to win the race with that Wi-Fi that Josiah Bell is operating with.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And he even has, whenever I see people with like the bright up or light up, keyboards and the light up mice, like I just think to myself, like, yeah, they probably a gamer, they have good internet. That's not always the case. But we do see the tramp come down. So
okay.
Here we go.
This is it now. This could but another good thing to point out, though, this match is far from over. It's only 3-2. It's 3-2.
Yeah.
So Chernobog can stick here within the next couple turns for a nice low cost Chernobog here. Set that play up. You could just Chernobog can dominate this whole space, because there is, now we're talking about no answers. This deck that Josiah is playing has no answers for a Chernobog, just none.
Correct.
It's going to cost you so many guys. You're going to need to put so many guys into the Chernobog to clear him, and he can just do some serious damage in the process. So I think Dick Burns is a good enough player to identify that position and realize, hey, I need Chernobog or bust, and I think that could turn this game right back on its head right now.
Oh yeah, because there's 5 characters in the discard. There's 2 ink. So 5, 6, 7.
And we're going for another one. We're tramping up.
Tramp. Oh, there we go. See, that's man. Here we go. Now he's surely got to see that he's got 5 characters in the discard. He just needs 4 more, and we get a Chernobog's down. Right? It's 9 for Chernobog. Oh,
there he is.
Yes, there it goes. Yes. Here we go. Now it's a game. All right.
The game is now on its head. I think Josiah has got to be trembling a little bit, because that Chernobog is loose and he is active, and he is not too happy. He seems quite pissed. If I could be so frank, doing his thing, just ready to go complete banana mode on these locations. Your entire board will fall to this Chernobog without question.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no card that you have that can stop it.
Exactly. And not only that, but he at the same time, so he just played 2-6, a 2-6-2, a 2-6-2, and a 9-9-3 in one turn. Like, can we talk about that? Like, holy crap.
I agree.
It's massive.
I don't know what's going on with Arcasia's Island, but there are some serious discounts happening. It's free. It's a bargain basement. It's a complete giveaway over here on Arcasia's Island. Back on Azurite Sea, man, we're paying full retail value for everything. But out here in Arcasia's Island, it is just a free-for-all giveaway. Things are just coming in at a discount. Hate to see it, but it looks like we're going to go ahead and start feeling free to quest now, as that board is beefy, and you're going to be in a vice there from Josiah. So I'll be interested to see what Josiah can do now. This game is over. I think Dick got this one bad.
I don't think, because even next, he can just ignore. He's already at 10. So next turn he can quest with just the 2 tramps and the Chernobogs for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, yeah, what do you even do at this point? Oh my goodness.
And you're right. That thing went from who is the beat down to being completely beat down immediately. Like, I'm talking, I haven't seen a switch gears like that in a really, really long time. So that was tough, man.
That is massive. Like that, it's really sexy to kind of see that kind of play. Like, holy crap.
I love to see the dogs pop off, because this is a deck, and I just like saying the word Churna Dog. I think Churna Dog is it's a great deck list name. And I like seeing this deck pop off, because I think this could, in this meta right now, we're looking for that 3rd or 4th deck, that 5th or 6th deck. Trying to fill out what the meta is going to be like. I think Blue Steel is going to be a solid choice in multiple different varieties. I think Ruby Sapphire is going to be a solid choice. But with Ruby Amethyst taking a huge step back, what's going to be that 3rd, 4th deck in the meta that kind of completes the rock, paper, scissors situation? I think this deck is in a good spot to do that, because it has great matchups all around. It's a solid deck and can do some very unfair things like we just seen. And I think it's in a good spot. So the more players that try it out, I think this could be something that's developed upon and continue to be a part of our meta. So hopefully it happens.
Oh, yeah. Yep, and I couldn't agree more. I think because this deck, because of those 0-4 bodies, the 2-6 bodies, the 9-9, like these blue steel song lists, even Zan's item list, what 52-0 now, they're like, they can't answer these big butt characters. But
can't.
I was talking to Paul at the SSG 10 case event. He said it suffers pretty hard to red blue. So in that triangle, or it has the rock paper scissors. If I see blue steel, I'm pretty happy with things. So I think you're right. I think this will show as the fourth deck, if not green steel, but no one wants to see that. So
yeah, I covered a tournament this weekend in the DMV area. Shout out to Ink Invitational. I had the pleasure and fortune of being there in the booth with them, and there was a Tramp Dog deck in the top tables as well, top 4, I believe. Definitely made it top 8. And he said he just played blue steel all day, and he was just wiping the floor with them, like they couldn't touch him. It was such a good call. But when he paired up against Steel Song, it was just a whole nother thing, and it just completely. And also Blurple was there, and that might be a tough match. So it's just a good deck. Every deck's going to have some weaknesses, but if you can identify what your meta is and have your deck curtailed to defeat that, then it could be a good choice. So I do think this deck is a solid choice and should be explored a bit more.
I agree. So we do see. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying. It looks like Josiah's kind of fighting back though. So
he's
Dick's
trying.
still feeling good about himself. Feeling good about his spot. Just questing hard and getting all the way up to 17. Yeah, the game's over. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Forget I said anything. You're not clearing that turnabout.
He tried though. He tried really hard. So A for effort.
Yeah, the game is over. Okay, unless I miss something. Is there any type of reach? Is there spaghetti
13,
dinner?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Let's see it. Oh man.
11.
That 1,
Whoa,
2, 3,
wait
4.
a second.
Is that game? No. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If
I think this is lethal.
If Calhoun takes something down, can Calhoun finish somebody off here and get the
Calhoun
extra?
can.
Is 11 with Calhoun? So that's 1, 2, 3. He's at 11 right now.
Oh, he already gained the location lore.
Oh,
so
okay.
He was at 8 and then went 9, 10, 11, and then he has the Calhoun, the Rapunzels, the Captain Hooks. So
okay, man, I think that was close. I think Dick Burns was playing it fast and loose on that one, because I thought it was maybe that you could have aggressed the board a little bit and like cleared some things just to give you that peace of mind. But I think you ran the numbers and understood the matchup well enough to know that, hey, I'm in a comfortable spot. Let's just go ahead and win the game. You play to win the game. Enter a mile. I think that's what Vin Diesel taught me in Fast and Furious.
A lot of life lessons from those movies. All right, family, right?
Family. It's all about family. Okay,
that was pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Thank you. I try. It's all about family.
Man, maybe you're the voice actor. All right, like
we only drink Corona in this house. Something like that. I don't know. You learn a lot from the Fast and Furious series there. But Intro Mile is one thing I took away from that movie. And Granny shifting and double clutching like you should, et cetera, et cetera. And also Hector has spoon engines as well, whatever that might mean. But still, we're going into game number 3, and Dick Burns did exactly what he was supposed to do there. And the deck seemed to come alive. It went from like I'm a sad little soul, the game is over, to check me out, I'm back, and we're way, way better than ever.
In one turn. One turn. Like
it turned on. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy how quickly though, like Josiah Bell, we were kind of talking about, it's 2-3, and the next thing you know, we're looking and we're like, oh, the game's over. Dick Burns won it, and then Josiah Bell's just one off. And that turned really quickly. Like, have you ever played any of these location heavy decks before? How do you like them?
I'm big into the location. John Silver, I fully believe in my heart. Again, this is me being the optimist that I am. I fully believe that John Silver is one of the most underexplored, underrepresented cards in the game. I think the card is cracked insane. I think Resist is like super good, and I like the concept of it. I think Green Steel. We saw a Green Steel location pirate deck at the Hunter Burke Memorial Tournament. Shout out to 20 Lord Pro for putting that on. It was a fantastic event. Someone's out there cooking with John Silver location. It was going crazy out there too. So it just takes people to get out there and try it. Look at the show. Oh my, it's getting worse. He's doing it's like hurting my soul. Did you see that?
I did. That he's got to be listening right now, and
got
he's
to be
like, "Oh,
taunting
this
us.
will show him."
That hurt my spirit right there with that shuffle. Holy hell, that
Oh.
was massive shuffle there. Hurt my spirit. Poor cards, man. RIP to those cards. All right, so I think we dropped all the way down to about half a frame a second now for Josiah, as they're hanging on though. We're in a series of tubes trying to get through the internet connection. Thank you guys for bearing with us on the ICL. It's been a great ICL night so far, and I'm looking forward to round number 3. And make sure you guys tune in on Wednesday as well, and on Friday for we're gonna full jam-packed week of ICL for you guys. Stay tuned and keep it locked, and don't touch that dial.
Don't touch that dial. Oh yeah, no, it's. I've got to admit, like this is. I don't get to play a lot of Pixelborn Connect anymore, unfortunately. But I remember when I would, when the people would be watching my stream, they'd laugh at me because if I ran into someone that got this kind of internet connection, I could be 15-0, and I'd just be like, "Nah, I'm out," and I just concede and like go to the next game. Like I couldn't handle it.
You got to be built. You got to be built. You got to be built a little bit different to take that. I'm not built that way at all. I am quite the same as you. Like I'm like, dude, hey, you gotta talk to your internet service provider, man. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out what the situation is, and let's boost that up. Okay, they got fiber optics out there. Let's figure it out. That's all. That's it. No big deal. Just figure it out. Let's just figure it out. As Captain Hook is going to be on the board as well, and that is that new Yzma card is going to find her way into the Inkwell early. As I like the way that Dick Burns also just inks and yeets a card off into the oblivion somewhere. That's so good. I might have to incorporate that. If I ever use ink tokens, I'm definitely doing that. Like he doesn't care about his cards, and I love it. I love it.
You know, I'm gonna throw because Dick Burns is this villain right now. I'm gonna throw him in the doghouse because last time he was on the ICL and I casted you saw, speaking of yeeting things, you saw his wife come in and yeet his ring into the frame because he wasn't wearing it. And here we go again, not wearing his wedding ring. So Dick, you're gonna be in trouble.
All right, so he's full on villainous even outside of the Lorcana world, and now the ring is back. You're busted. I love it. I can't get enough of this, dude. This is so fun. As we're gonna put double the rings on. Oh, dude, I love it. As we got Hook Smee combination, Scottie Pippen Jordan situation, as they are tale as old as time. The Smee supporting the Hook, as we'll jam the Lilo down into the Inkwell and also into Oblivion. And let's see if this day is going to quest again. I don't know if you can afford it this time, as you'll pay 2 for the Pooh Piglet Pirate. He's back.
You gotta love this start for Josiah Bell, going that Captain Hook into Smee, because that Smee can just now quest and you're just living in a happy land of taking no damage.
And he's chilling. All you have to do is just keep in mind that Rapunzel is a thing that does exist.
Yes.
And maybe not get too terribly quest happy and get blasted by Rapunzel. But other than that, you're feeling so fine with this situation if you are Josiah Bell. As your opponent, Captain Hook actually does a pretty incredible job checking down this Pooh Piglet Pirate, and both of them together can take down the Daisy and the Pooh. So you're kind of chilling here, and maybe if you can set up your location spam now, you could be good to go. As the greediest pirate captain is up, you got double captain, so Smee is feeling so good.
Oh yeah, and he said, "I don't care if you have Rapunzel, go ahead." But something to note too is Josiah must have some more locations in his hand because he's inked 2 locations already. So I'm interested to see how he responds on this turn 4 for him, if we still see a big dump of locations.
I would be surprised if I don't see a turn 4 ink and play my entire hand full of locations next turn and quest heavy next turn. That's what his deck wants to do. That is a power play that his deck can make going into that 4-turn play. If your John Silver can live, and looking at Dick Burns' deck as well, I'm not seeing a lot of ways to engage with ready characters. So I think he's pretty much confident that the card is going to live, and he played 3 locations and quest for 4. Like, how do you solve it? What are you going to do?
That is a lot, because like we talked about in game 1, you're not getting rid of those locations anytime fast either. So we are seeing a lot of 1-drops coming.
Oh,
Ooh,
look at that.
ooh, are we gonna see it next turn? Or I'm
It can
hoping. I'm
happen.
excited.
And honestly, this position looks very familiar to what it was last time.
Mhm.
This looks very reminiscent to the turn that we saw last time, as you are going to quest
Ooh.
to give up some cards there.
Mhm.
And
Daisy trigger
it's
showed a location, so
okay. And
feels good.
this could be the beginning of a whole chain situation of tramp into Chernobog again. Potentially,
Mhm.
it could happen again. So, and I think that is Dick Burns' win condition. You need the Chernobog to stick because
Mhm.
he's your big body. But we are hesitant to slam these locations in right now. So maybe we were wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's
and another one
because
goes to
he's
the Inkwell.
questing for a lot.
Interesting indeed.
Ooh. Location, dock. That would be pretty good.
That'll be quite strong if you could set that
Yes, it
up.
would.
And there is one.
Mine, okay.
And there is
And
we're almost down to about
and
a frame per second now. We're all
yeah.
in. The frames are coming in by postage stamp at this point. Love to see it though. It makes it a little more riveting, if I say so
Yes, it
myself.
does. It does.
It's Calhoun who's flying
Calhoun.
over the field. Look at
Not
that.
what I expected, but it's a good one.
And we're gonna go ahead and send in the hook to finish off the Pooh Piglet Pirate, and then we're gonna send in 3 more. No, we're gonna quest for 4 here, and we're gonna kick it back on
All right.
over. So you aren't too afraid of the tramp situation, even though it kind of burned you
Mhm.
last time, leaving that Daisy up inactive. You don't hate to see it.
No, not at all. It's this frames per second right now is kind of exciting. It reminds me of the Ink cast or the Ink tournament where we were all waiting to see were we going to see the bell plus popsicle on turn 1.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
believe that was the Ink, right?
Yeah,
Like that was
it was, and it hit. It was such a lit moment when it does hit too. At
Mhm.
that, I'm like, come on, man, he hit it like 4 times in a row, 4 and 4. You hate to see it as huge Rapunzel goes off. Here we go.
Yes,
This could be the
very
turning point
big
right here. This could be
because
the turning
that's
point.
5. Yep. So you hopefully see Tramp. That's what he's hoping for, right? Rapunzel drawn 3.
But you have
Ooh,
to get
he
it next turn because
passed.
you did blow all your
Yep.
ink on the Rapunzel. So next turn, this could be a very powerful turn, and you're you're going to you're going to think about it here as you might have to, I don't know, I think you might have to pop some of these characters because what is
Yeah.
the cost of Tramp at a full value right now? You're only paying 2 for it.
7. Yeah. So right now you're only playing 2. So even next turn, if Josiah, there's a dock. So, but if Josiah decides to take out Daisy, you're paying 3 for Tramp,
Mm-hmm.
which doesn't feel bad either. And that's if you play no characters either. So not a bad turn. So here
Oh,
we're nice play there,
I like that.
moving the Calhoun to deal 1 and then taking out that Daisy to gain the 2 lore feels pretty good.
I like that. I like that a lot. Heads up maneuver, bring you all the way up to 13 after this pretty healthy quest as well. So it's on to Dick Burns. You need to have another one of those super high powered plays this next turn. You do have a pretty healthy hand now, and this could be the time where you can kind of turn it around. Unless, what is the power level on the questing power on the side of the board? Is that 7 over there? I think
One,
you
2.
might have to lose your whole board here because you got to clear
Mhm.
something.
Yep. You
'Cause
you do definitely have to.
that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right now. What Calhoun can give you 7. John Silver can give you more. Yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I think it might be a little too slow for Dick Burns on this one, unfortunately.
Mhm.
As I'm sure he can kind of see the writing is on the wall as well. You don't really have a way unless you can get. I don't know if you're playing Cricky or something like that. I think this deck could use a Cricky to just have a big, powerful turn to just clear the board with these weakened characters, but I just don't think you have it this time, and it is what it is. Very play draw. I think this matchup is actually quite good. I think it's an interesting
It
thing, and
is.
seeing how both we did get to see both decks demonstrate what they are designed to do, and I thought it was a pretty incredible match. But this is looking pretty over for Dick Burns here, as he's going to continue. He's going to give up.
Yeah.
He's not going to
gonna
give up.
try.
He's going to fight. He's going to fight.
Because if he does have like a Merryweather giving +2 attack, like that, could it give something a way to handle Calhoun? Right now, he could trade into Smee and his character.
Mm-hmm.
His Rapunzel would still live, allowing for the Tramp this turn. So he could live another turn so
Okay.
far, I think. He's at
Oh, there's the
14.
Merryweather. Okay. So we got you telling me there's a chance as we are going to base boost the Rapunzel just like you said, and then we'll be able to clear up the we'll take the Calhoun down.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go 1 here. Is there another tramp? Can you keep tramping? Can you tramp along?
I think we're gonna see it.
We're
1,
doing
2,
it.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Tramp can
could
boost.
play it.
Okay, Tramp does base boost some more characters, so you might be able to fight back. As now we'll go. Merriweather is going to be boosted going into the John Silver. Okay, let him cook, and let's
There we
invite to the
go.
ball. Let's go. Let him cook.
All right, all right.
As we'll get 2 high power characters.
That can bring back Merriweather for some more trading, so that's pretty good. No, that wouldn't actually work because Lady costs 5. He wouldn't have enough ink to do it next turn to bring back Merriweather and play her. Here we go.
So we are going to go ahead and send 2 characters on into the SME as well to clear that. And just like that, you're still back in the fight. And you might it's still a long way to go, but this game is not nearly as over as I had initially thought. We got Rapunzel sitting up with 3. Game 1 from the location.
All right.
Tough spot. Good game.
It is a good game. It's exciting. Because Daisy, if it quests, that deck runs almost nothing but characters. I think in Dick Burns' version, he's only running probably 2 invited to the balls, I'd imagine. And so almost guaranteed deals 2 to remove that Rapunzel, but we'll see.
And we are going to quest going up 17. So this is Lorthal damage in play as well. The Ursula Deceiver not doing a whole lot. That's not the character. That's not the droid you were looking for. You need somebody. There's no rush in this color group. You kind of need something that can really get loose on this board now. So you need those Merriweather, and Calhoun comes down. That's pretty much
Calhoun. No.
That might be the final nail here as I'm sure Dick Byrne is starting. He fought hard though. He's still not going to give up. Maybe he can pull off another miracle. We'll ink that Ursula. And then we might have to go into the lady. Yeah, Ursula's gone, probably sitting in the kitchen floor somewhere, sliding across the hallway. And then we'll go ahead and go for another Merriweather. And we'll go ahead and charge up the Merriweather. We'll take down the Daisy into the ball. And that's going to have
one piece of it. Oh man,
I wanted to see the trap dog turn the dogs pop off, man. But it was still a all right. And we're going to get the players in here to talk about their matchup and talk about their deck list and talk about we got Dick Burns, we got a visual, we got a sighting. Okay,
yeah, we got upside down Dick.
I like that. Hey yo, and we got an upside down Josiah as well. So look at that. Can we get the faces back in there? Production, can we get back onto the game board?
I can at least flip him for you guys. I don't think I can flip myself.
Can we flip your? I like this. Can we production? I don't know if production can hear, but there it is right there. And we got.
I got it. It was me.
We got Josiah is in the building, and we got Dick Burns out here. First, I want to say congratulations on you, Josiah, for getting to the absolute dub over Dick Burns out here. Can you talk about this deck? I like to hear what players say about the decks that they bring to the ICL. Can you talk about can we talk about your internet connection? What's going on with that? You're at about 1 frame per second right now, and then talk about your deck list.
Honestly, I have no idea. I've got like 2 gig Ethernet going to this computer, so.
Okay. It's probably just it's probably just a Pixmore thing. So can you just talk about the location Steel Song deck? What made you Steel Song Amber Steel location deck? Why'd you bring that to the ICL, and how has it been performing for you in set 7 so far?
Yeah, actually I got the inspiration from Chris Anderson. He and I were he was looking over certain lists that go well into the current meta, with blue steel being so good, it's performing really well. So I specifically wanted to bring a deck that would first of all throw off anybody who's expecting and practicing against that kind of meta, and then second of all, if I go up against a blue steel or a blue red, this deck kind of goes quick enough to take it out. But yeah,
Nice. Or can you? Sorry, Mike. I got one more question I want to ask. I'm gonna kick it over to
Yeah.
Myers, but can you talk about in that game too when you're feeling pretty confident? I had to assume with the lock you set up with Calhoun and the locations, and then Dick Burns just absolutely hit the freaking turbo booster gas pedal and took that thing right from you. Can you just talk about how that felt and what was going through your mind when that turn happened?
Yeah, it was one of those moments where I knew I needed to put lethal on the board in such a way that even if he could kill something that was sideways, I still had lethal. But he ended up having more answers than I expected. I think it worked out. I don't think I'd change what I did just because having those extra characters out forced him to have a response. And if he didn't have a response, I won the game. If he did, I've got plenty of locations and characters that quest for two to kind of keep the lock going. So
Okay. 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 Well, I thought it was well played. Mad Dog Madness. You got some questions here for Josiah before we kick it on over to Dick Burns.
I don't know about questions. I think, what you said about game two was very heads up thinking. It's, you presented and said, like, what are the odds he sees? He's able to drop, essentially 4-12 in just 2 tramps and also a turn of
yeah,
odds in the same turn. Like, that's everything that deck wants to do. And I think you did everything right to try and play to the win. And so yeah, it was awesome. It was great seeing the location deck being played. I personally am awful with them. I don't know what it is about them, but it's the fastest way for me to lose a game. But it was wild seeing how quickly it can win in game one. That was insane. I think it was like 3 ink in turn 5. You were already there. Wild. So just really
Absolutely.
cool to see.
Absolutely. I like the deck a lot. It's definitely something that I want to try out in my own Lorcana questing experience. But I'm going to kick it on over to Dick Burns, who was your opponent in this matchup. Huge shout out to Dick Burns. Everyone knows Dick Burns on the villainous. You were being very evil out there with your shuffling and inking techniques. I hate the riffle shuffle. I hate the way you treat these cards, but I do like the deck and I like what you had to play. And I like the deck name of it. Can you just talk about this deck list? Why'd you put it together and how's it been performing for you for set 7 so far?
All right. Well, first of all, they sent in the big guns to beat me. Braden dodged me.
Yeah.
Traverse Tavern dodged me. All right.
Okay. Let it be known.
There, and before I answer anything else, Sploosh Magoo. All right.
Mhm.
You absolutely suck. All right. Me and you, March 31st, Dick and Magoo.
Oh, is that so? Okay.
Yeah.
So he calling you out. Are you talking what team are they on? Is that the Freedom Gaming?
Yeah,
Is
of course
that
you wouldn't know. Of course no one would know.
Come on, come on.
No one
Hey,
would
listen.
ever know.
Listen, Dick. I get it. But why are they coming after you? What's the issues, man? I'm talking. You're here. You're doing your thing. Are they just trying to see? They don't want to see you winning, or what is it? I mean, what's the problem?
They love Dick. I don't know. They
Okay.
never stop
Okay.
talking about me.
Okay. Well, you hear that, Sploosh McGill? You better watch out. I mean, you better chill, okay? Because you got a wild card coming your way, and I don't think
That's
you
true.
want these kind of problems. Come SummerSlam, you better watch your back, okay? But
That's
kicking
true.
it back to this match right here,
Yeah.
what
So anyway,
happened?
what was the question? What
Um,
happened? This deck
so-
sucks, just like Freedom Gaming.
okay.
I was expecting to play against Sapphire, obviously. It didn't work out. And then
Yeah.
Chuck had to go and win round 1, so I was on the draw. I had no shot. No shot, no opportunity. Okay, it was 8 Mile all the way.
No, but wait,
I don't know. It's funny, JDZ Quest. We don't
Roger
ever
that.
see you on here play.
Let me lock it up. Let me lock it up. Let me stow it. Okay, you're right. You're the champ. Okay, listen. Let me lock that up. Okay, no more
Yeah.
laughing, no more giggling. Okay, this ain't no schoolgirl thing.
Okay.
All right, but seriously, we did see the deck. We did see the deck absolutely pop off though in that game number 2. So it can do some cool stuff.
know.
I mean, I'm
That
sure
was
you wouldn't
sweet,
bring a
right?
garbage. Oh, it was pretty dope. Talk about that play and talk about this. This what you think that deck can be.
Well, I was like, I said to one of my teammates, TFM James, he doesn't like getting shout outs, so shout out to him. Me and him went up to our new store because everyone knows I'm filthy rich.
Okay.
So we went up to our brand new store and we did some play testing. I was like, listen, I don't want to get embarrassed by Sapphire decks, right? And he's like, I got you. You'll just get embarrassed by locations. I was like, perfect. He made the deck for me yesterday. These aren't even my cards. I'm riffle shuffling. Shout out to James. But yeah, I mean, if you're planning on playing a bunch of Sapphire decks, I mean, this deck just absolutely crushes.
Mhm.
Okay.
So.
My dog, you got any Myers? You got any questions you want for Dick Burns, man? Because I need to get out of here because I feel in danger. I don't want to be I don't want to be on that list of I don't want
Yeah.
to be over there with Sploosh Magoo. I don't want to be over there with Sploosh, man.
No one wants to be
And-
like Sploosh.
JD,
Okay.
I think you could take him. All right, I think you can take him. He's
Okay.
flip flopping teams all over the place, like no allegiance to any. I think
Dick's
I
a
think
hot
you've got it.
commodity. Dick's a hot commodity.
But I do have a question, Dick. We were talking about yeeting cards, how you just kind of throw your cards off to the side. Next thing you know, we see your wedding rings yeeted back in frame.
Yep.
You ever gonna remember to wear those?
What you know it, every time I'm streaming for Villainous, wedding rings are gone. Every time. My wife walked in the room and just shook her head, and I went, "Oh, go get my ring." I was cooking all day. All right.
Okay. I respect that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it happens. It's a part of it. You got to put your ring on. I don't know who you trying to impress out here, not wearing your rings out in the ICL, and maybe that could have brought you the luck required to get the cards you need to get over the top. But I'm sure you're going to come back in next round, and maybe you can put a dub. What's your record so far in the ICL in these 2 rounds that we've played so far?
Terrible. Have you seen my player card? I mean, I know Katie's the only commentator that has skill around here, so she's the one to put it up. But you know, I was specifically drafted to this team because everyone would complain way too much if they just 3-0'd everyone, right? So I had to come in here and give the other teams a chance, you know? Like, it doesn't feel great when the all-star team actually just dumpsters on everyone, right?
Okay.
So
it's
you
a
know,
little bit of community service.
Yeah.
A little bit of community service.
They
Right?
brought a loser like myself in, you know.
Okay.
Team,
I don't think
team
that's true.
O2 drop.
I don't think that's true at all. But Josiah, again, I got to throw it back over to you. Congratulations on your victory. And I'm sure you guys are going to be on your way. The Lorcana am I saying it right? The loungers.
No. Josiah's the only good one. That's all I know.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm gonna let you guys go because we got another match that's going right behind this one, and I want to wish you guys. Thank you guys both for participating in ICL, and Dick Burns, thank you so much for your performance, and Josiah as well. Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
Peace. Okay. Oh, all right. All right. I think I should be ready to go. Can you guys hear me in video now? Man, what an interview. Dude, Dick Burns. I think the ICL does need some more heels. All right. And I think having a couple of heels. I like that personality. Have some heels.
Muted. Is JD muted?
Am I? No. Check. Okay. Sorry. But that was a great match, Mad Dog Madness, man. I think it was a good time. They forgot to do shout outs. That's one thing we forgot to do. So I'm sure we can get them back in here to do some shout outs later. But shout out to both of them. Shout out to TFM. Shout out to Villainous and everything of that sort. But Mad Dog, that was too much fun being here with you doing this again. Where can we find more of you? Let's get your shout out.
Yeah, of course, I got my YouTube channel that's Meyer Madness, and then I'm trying to do more with the whole social media thing, trying to do Twitter and everything, but that's I'm gonna let my wifeager kind of handle that. That's where she shines. But
okay. Respect.
But yeah.
Absolutely, man. And absolutely. If you guys know me, I'm JDZ. I'm on a quest. I'll be out here in the ICL every single time and trying to bring you guys that JDZ Quest momentum out here. And you guys can also, if you want more of me, see me on Twitch and on YouTube, JDZ Quest on everything. But we have some more beautiful, talented casters coming behind us for the final dramatic conclusion of the ICL. It looks like who's going to be coming behind us right now? I can't quite hear. Okay. Sploosh. Okay, we got your host, the host with the most. You guys know him. You guys love him. We got Luke, Wonderland, and Sploosh Magoo. Oh, dude, Sploosh, you got a villain out there looking for you. So watch your back. Oh, yo, Luke's cooking right now.
We're technical difficulties.
We're gonna keep rocking. You know? We're gonna keep rocking with it. I don't know, Sploosh, if you.
Oh, well, now I'm not muted. There we go. Well, here, I pressed the transition. I saw those screens popped up. I was like, how did that happen? Like, there's no reason that should have happened at all, but it did. You want to say something so I know you're not muted? If you just said something, I can't hear you. You're not muted. I think you need to disconnect and reconnect.
Try again.
That worked. There
Beautiful.
we go.
I do apologize.
All right. It's all good. I'm just trying to fix things because
No worries. While you're fixing things, I just want to kind of, coming off the back of what good old Mr. Dick Burns just had to say, I hope he doesn't show up with the same excuses right here on March 31st, right? So I don't even know if he knew I was going to be following up here, but
I don't think he did.
but I do want to point out that he's just been a little bit salty since he showed up to a local store championship here, and he got absolutely destroyed in the finals. So now all he can do until we run into each other again is, talk it up on social media. He says nobody knows me, and he is absolutely correct. But I still haven't lost to him. And we'll see what happens on the 31st. Maybe I don't even play just to continue, my hot streak.
It makes sense. Oh, so we've got a pretty good match here. Do you know what Nash is on?
Yes, I do.
What do you think about it?
I do. I'm super excited. 60 characters, not to give too much away. I actually don't think it's too bad into this matchup. Granted that Sky is on something a little bit more traditional versus what Set 7 is kind of laid out for Sapphire Steel. However, still incredibly strong. But if those
still 4 crabs,
but Queens and Medusas come down at the right time, it is going to be pretty devastating if he's ramping, emptying out his hand, and then playing out his big threat and just have it immediately.
He's like, he has to show off his John Silver ink token.
Yeah.
I think he was probably showing that it was appropriate to have. He was just like, yeah, it's just John Silver.
How have you been? How has practice for Set 7 gone? And are you showing up to CCS next week?
I wish. Too rich for my blood to fly. I mean, a 10K, it should be. It is a 10K, or is it bigger now?
It was an 8K initially, but due to the attendance level, they have bumped it up to a 10K, which has prompted all of the Southside Gaming players to head on, book their travel. So I know Southside Gaming is going to be there. Speaking of Southside Gaming, Freedom Gaming has now gotten a partnership, we're affiliated with them. So that's what's been up with us.
Is Freedom and Illuminati associated with them, or just?
Oh,
Freedom?
Illuminati just wishes they were.
Well, I know Gabe is good friends with SSG, right?
Yeah. We're all pretty tight. We did have a little bit of a grudge match earlier today at SSG between Hayes.
I saw that on Twitch a little bit.
Yep, ill-advised. Mikey was able to send Monty back to his retirement home, so that was fun. But it's
okay, so
all
that was Monty. I was only there for a little bit. I've seen a lot of AI generated images that Chuck makes.
Yes,
Monty,
yes.
But I've never actually seen Monty.
And then, what were the chances that Chuck and Gnarly had to play today? So
Charlie.
Mitch, whoops, I'm talking about Charlie's Collectibles, but Mitch and Chuck actually both pretty local. So. Or maybe next time they could set something up right there on the south side.
Maybe they chose. Maybe they're we're each playing first round. Let's go.
But beyond that, have you been enjoying Set 7?
Oh, yeah. I have been waiting for my cards to show up in the mail. That's been the big thing. I've wanted to play these decks. I ordered a bunch, and I just today got my third and fourth lady in the mail, so I'm like, okay, I can actually play this deck. And then Villainous Dick Burns was playing a similar list today, and I was like, all right.
I got to play against a bit of it. Jack Ghosty from SSG, pretty big on it, and until he switched back to Sapphire Steel. But it looks like they started. Sky was on the play, dropped down a Fortisphere. He is on Sapphire Steel and passed it right back to Nash.
Is this a Mufasa list?
Yes, it is. And I'm super excited to see it.
Oh man, I was like, Mulan. Wait, you said 60 characters, and I'm like, well, it's normally Mufasa, but it could just be some crazy lady aggro pile.
I think this has some pretty good game into Sapphire. I might be proven wrong tonight, but it is going to be an
So
once again, I think I've and not to cut you off, but I got to all 3 times that I've casted. It has been third match, and it's kind of do or die. So excited to be back again.
Well, I think that's. Oh no, I'm thinking of Sisu. I was going to say I think that's because you have a kid and you have to be late. But no.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, Dan made it happen for round 1.
So Sky here he's been talking about how Oswald's not it, and he's like, if you want a good 2-drop that's uninkable, play Chicha. And so he's going to show us, is Chicha the truth? Like, is he going to drop Quill, ink again, draw an extra card, then play Popsicle, maybe do something else fun? It's hard to say. Or is Chicha just going to be like a worse Oswald?
Yeah, and then to note with Nash's list, his removal options, as long as Sky doesn't turn Chicha sideways, his removal options for that are pretty. As of now, Sky is seeing the optimal curve, right? So good on.
Is Sky playing Fire the Cannons? He tends to like that card, but I could see him not playing it. Chicha and the Band, the name of Sky's deck, and he is on Fire the Cannons.
Yes, he is.
Have it? I don't think he'd be tanking this. Maybe he would tank. I mean, do you hit the Mulan or do you hit the Piglet? Is the lore as relevant, or the Rapunzel draw 2 could be big game?
Well, the red, yellow, or sorry, amber. Oh, there it is. You called it. But what is the target of choice? And to note, amber, ruby, kind of their main source of is the Rapunzel. So it looks like he did opt to take out the Mulan, but
Mufasa traditionally doesn't play very many 1-drops, so it's kind of a low chance that Piglet actually gets to quest for 3 here. I'm assuming it's just Mulan as 1-drops, and I would be wrong. There is another 1-drop in the list. Maybe we'll see it.
Did have the heal there, which he ended up could have drawn at least.
Did he just... He inked a Rapunzel, you said?
No, the Madrigal.
The Julieta.
Yes.
I think it's Julieta. There's like 6 or 7 in that family.
There's so many, I know. It's the mom who heals things.
The mom who heals things.
I'm coming down. What do you think he's trying to line up next turn? That removal, first bit of removal?
For the Gaston, I'm assuming there's going to be maybe a Medusa on the Flaversham. Draw off of Chicha. Remember, if you see him riffle shuffle his deck, you got to say something so I can yell at him. Because I asked him not to riffle shuffle because he's borrowing 4 crabs and 3 scourges from me.
Ooh.
It's like, if anyone's going to destroy these cards, it's going to be me.
Yeah. Oh boy, Sky better watch out.
And Sky riffle shuffle. He is truly a member of Team Villainous. Like, it's probably hurting him that he's not able to riffle shuffle because he always riffle shuffles. He plays a fully foiled out blue or sapphire steel deck that he's been playing since like set 2, and he riffle shuffles it. Like,
oh my goodness,
he don't care. These cards are
Hurts
home for life with him. So
yeah.
They're in their forever home, right?
For sure. I guess too, like, what does if that's his main thing, who cares, right?
Ooh.
So, oh my goodness gracious.
I'm not gonna let you stop me. You don't get to stop me. No, I am drawing my 3 cards.
Yep.
Technically it's only +1 card, but also 3 more on the board, and Piglet.
Piglet, yep. Piglet gets the quest there. How can Sky go about clearing?
Well, he has 3 cards. He to double ink, he is losing a card each time. I'm pretty sure Sky is not on Whole New World. He tends to not like that card.
I don't.
He does have some removal. He's not on it. Tamatoa is maybe not bad, but I mean he still has Flaversham too, so he has plenty of cards here. But he needs to answer things, and he doesn't really have. It's not traditional in the regards of he doesn't have a Swords Tinkerbell to clear this board. I think he'd feel a lot better about this matchup if he had Tinkerbell and Swords in his list.
Without a doubt, and this is why I was kind of mentioning at the beginning of the Ash is just looking to bunch of characters on board. Obviously, he got to refill his hand. Perfectly timed Rapunzel and God. Cards to play. Draw. Switching over to ink tokens now and confusing times, but that is okay.
Yeah, I do use ink tokens, but the cards I ink on my turn, I normally will put directly into my ink and then at end of turn move them. But sometimes I just do it differently. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, I'm going to move it here while I'm thinking. I'm just like, let's get it out of the way. Like...
Right, so we're choosing to lay down another Flaversham, draw another 2 cards. Both players, plenty of cards in hand, but as we mentioned, Sky does need to find a way to start clearing some of Nash's board here.
I wouldn't be surprised if Chicha just wasn't like, fine, I did my work. I'm going to trade with Piglet. And then John or Jim takes out the Gaston. And like, I don't think Nash inked. So Nash played 6 and oh no, Nash did ink. Nash did.
Yeah.
It's still like I look at how much ink Sky has and I'm just like, maybe he didn't ink this turn.
No, he's still curving out just right. It's just the Sky has taken off to the sky with how much ink he has on the board. So
I see what you did there. Oh man, let's see. I mean, this is gonna help Sky figure out what he wants to do. Does he need to trade the Chicha here? 4 lore's not very much, but 3 lore off of the Piglet plus another 3, he'd go up to 10 just questing out, and that can be pretty brutal. Depending on what's in the hand, I would be very apt to trade Chicha in, but if my hand was just insane, I could see maybe not doing it. Sky,
oh no, there it is.
Sky agrees.
What are the chances he already has another Chicha after drawing that many cards, right?
Pretty high. Plus, she already drew 2 or 3 cards. She did her job. Yep. She came in on turn 2, and he quilled, inked twice. Yeah, I think she's drawn 3 cards.
And he only plays 2 of the Jim Hawkins, but again, every time you're inking, he's getting that Challenger too. So, and to note, in his deck list, he isn't running the Shift, but this is good enough. This is plenty good here.
I think Sky really needs to hit. Well, that's kind of frustrating. Now Flaversham could get knocked down, but I don't. Probably go after the Flaversham. It's hard to say. There's not very many items, and there's still another Flaversham. And not questing is what Sky kind of wants with 6 cards in hand. The question is with those 6 cards, does Sky have a Zeus for the Gaston?
I would not be surprised. Whether or not it's worth it, I think so, with the amount of cards in Nash's hand, because he can just continuously cheat stuff out. It's just going to come down to
does he have?
I think he had 5 before the start of the turn, so it went to 6, inked, and then played. So he should be at
that's a 2 or
3.
That's
3.
a 3. That's a 3. So, I mean, there's a world that Nash doubles no matter what with 6. So it's like, what's worse, the lady plus a 2-drop or just a lady? Like the Lady Tremaine or Madame Medusa's coming down no matter what.
Yep. And on the top end, he's got some really fun cards that, with the Carefree Surfer. And then with Gaston still on the board, he can cheat out quite a few things on the following turn. So I would love to see another Mulan shift happen. That was a lot of fun to watch. God, what team was that? But absolutely devastating.
Chat's having a discussion about if cards are meant to be played with. referencing the riffle shuffling and such.
Oh.
And I've seen, honestly, like a card that looks like it's been played on like the street corner and is just like really beat up. I think they look good. Like if they're flat, if they're at least flat, and even in a sleeve you can't tell what it is, but it looks like very worn and weathered, I think that looks really cool. And it's way cheaper.
Way cheaper. Now, it's every once in a while you run into some players that have like a fully decked out deck, right? And all the enchanteds in there, Amber Steel. There's a few of those guys at Southside, and they're just whaps, just playing, riffling them up, machine gun style, and it just hurts my heart.
Just a casual $6,000 Lorcana deck, which is crazy for a game that just came out a year ago. That you can have cards that much, but like Maleficent D20s or D23 or whatever it's called, man, Sky is just wet all over the board.
Yep. So this is how he's going to answer Nash's board here. Slam down the Tamatoa as well as double bell.
I'm assuming he paid for one of these bells, or did he pop a popsicle for both?
Well, maybe I believe he got the 2 popsicles back. Ooh. Oh, there's the Zeus. Now, how does Nash?
Need more cards.
Yeah, how does Nash come back from this?
I don't know. More Rapunzels. There's nothing we can stack damage on at the moment, sadly. This is one reason why I might have taken out one of the Flaversham over the third Gaston.
Yep.
Which is... Does he even have something to play? Because I feel like he could have played it, unless his hand was just inkables. This turn, just ink play 6-drop. Or, last turn instead of
last turn. Oh, this guy's having to count out all that ink in his inkwell. Mulan Shift would do some wonders, I think, as well. It would definitely allow for a nice little clear here with the Illumineer.
Sky needs to not play into that.
So
there's some big cards that there's quite a few big cards. I definitely could see why the Gaston getting active is pretty important here. One of my favorite 7-drops in the game, Surfer Stitch.
Surfer Stitch is huge. And again, Monty was on Ruby Amber today, so I got to see plenty of those come down. Some of the gimmicks that the deck can put out. Obviously not the same list as he was running a few actions, but there are...
Who's he playing against?
He was playing against Blurple. It was hazed on Blurple. So they were going 1st to 7, and I believe it ended up 7-5 in Blurple's favor.
Interesting. Normally going wide is how you beat them, but you still have to have answers, and that's kind of where this deck lacks. I feel like an early Genie followed by an Elsa just like takes out a Gaston and then just puts constant pressure they can't interact with.
Yeah, the Blurple list was running the 4 of items with the bells and then the shift bells. So a bunch of times that he was trying to, establish the Gothel or the Mulan, he would shift the bell and immediately be able to take their Rapunzel targets out. So that was really cool to see. Big Tamatoa coming down. Now we just need to start setting up these items and lay down a free dime. What's he going to quest and play for free? Is it the dime? No, second Fishbone Quill. And what about the prices on these new Tamatoas? I know everybody's hunting for them, but they have steadily climbed, whereas the rest of the enchanters have kind of, which as normal, kind of diminish in value over the first week. But
I heard there was a Tramp buyout today.
Really? I know I went and attended the 6-case tournament in Raleigh at the Expo. Shout out to Unplugged Games for hosting that one. Probably, I think, the biggest tournament in North Carolina to date. But there was a crab buyout on Friday, so it jumped to 500, 550. And then started to kind of go back down within the next 48 hours, but it is kind of crazy to see. So
It tends to be how it is. Someone will notice natural growth and then be like, well, don't mind if I don't speed this up a little bit. But yeah, the 2-drop tramp, I don't know what it jumped up to. I think it was down to like 50 or 60.
Yeah.
I wanted it to go down to like 40 because I haven't played the Lady and Tramp deck yet.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to. And then I heard people being like, who would have thought Bad Crab was actually good? I did.
Oh man. Well,
But
you
I was
guys,
too patient.
if anybody's got some cheap enchanted tramps for Wonder here, hook them up. Hook him
Yeah,
up.
I mean, it's got to be real cheap. That's the thing. I don't like spending money.
I don't think any of us do. You know, it's fancy cardboard, but every once in a while, draw and get to play your like nicest card feels pretty good.
Oh yeah. I love playing with my DLC Rapunzels, and I cannot wait to see what the next DLC season promos are. And I won't lie, I will be severely disappointed if at least one of the two that you can trade into. Hopefully, there's more. I would like to see like 4 or 5 DLC promo cards that you can trade tickets for, so we don't have just one skyrocketing, everyone spending points on one. You give us 4 or 5 playable staples, like people are going to go crazy at those side events.
And it's so much fun to have something to work towards, right? Atlanta, with the cost of the tickets and how difficult it was, the prices were crazy high, and then they kind of fixed it out, and we're a little bit more liberal with the amount of tickets they handed out. But again, only those 2 promos for all the DLCs up until Nats, and then Nats came around, and we got the Cuscos, which unfortunately doesn't see any play. And
if
I haven't
those bad boys came out, and if we had DLCs in set 1,
right,
those things would have been like $200, $300,
right?
$400 at least.
I believe it.
They missed their time, sadly, on the Cusco promo.
Yeah. I hope that they continue to do these alt arts, kind of like the D23.
I like them.
I love them. It's kind of reminiscent of Magic, and having these different cards to be able to play, preferably playable cards, obviously, right? Like, I like having collection stuff, but all my enchanteds that I do own, I play with. So I'm not one to grade all my
Habibi
stuff.
wants us to talk about it. Sky just played 10,000 characters and drew a bunch of cards.
And then Nash is on his side with a bunch of damaged characters, and
there's spoilers. There's no removal in Sky's deck. Sky, I mean, there's removal, but not the kind that chat's asking for.
Do you
Sky
mean
is a traditionalist, and he played Chicha over Oswald.
Yep.
But the rest of the deck is basically what everyone else is playing. I feel like it's really close to it.
And why not, right? Why change when it's clearly working?
I'll owe you those, Bobby. I'll get you those later. I'm not doing squats during the ICL. I did some earlier when I wasn't casting.
So at this point, we're just kind of looking to close out the game here. Second fire of the cannons. Sky has had a full grip probably the entire game here. Trades into the Gothel, really kind of putting the chokehold on Nash. And at this point, what do? Probably bin that fire the cannons that was already played. Just goes up. There it was. The one potential. The one potential out was the Shift Mulan, and he had it in hand. But as soon as he took those out, that's a wrap. So Sky taking game 1. Nash is going to be on the play, so hopefully he's able to kind of maintain a little bit more tempo. It's not like he kind of dried up his hand either. He had a perfectly lined up Gaston that resulted in the Gothel and Rapunzel, right? So is Sapphire just that strong right now?
I mean, it is really good. And you even called out, he was like, he only has 2 Jim Hawkins.
Yep.
And if he didn't have that Jim Hawkins, it might have actually been quite difficult for Sky to answer that Gaston, which might have allowed Nash to get back in this game or to run away with it. Since I mean it was like turn 4 or 5, so it's hard to say get back into.
Yeah.
But he could have just ran away there. What he needs is that that Gaston in those early 6s. But he didn't even get to use the Gaston once, and he didn't really get to do much. Like, had a Madame Medusa came down, gotten rid of it. I mean, he drew cards. Drawing cards is good. You're not going to draw as many as Flaversham. You need to answer those. Like, it
And in this
could
case,
have been the right choice to challenge the Flaversham.
yeah, in this case, it wasn't just the Flaversham. You had the Chicha putting in work for way too many turns as well. So, and he saw that perfect curve, right? Popsicle, Chicha, Quill, and then dropping the Flaversham right after. So,
Hashtag better Oswald.
Yep.
Although,
So,
keep playing Oswald, folks. Keep buying them. I need to sell my 4 foils eventually.
now, what do you think is going through Nash's head here? Is he going to try to mulligan in a way that he can just kind of hit the gas pedal and race to 20 before Sky is able to really establish a board? Is that his best bet going forward?
The issue with trying to do that, and I say this from someone who has lost to Sky and set champs far too much. I have a bad habit of playing decks that are very bad against what he plays. He likes to play Sapphire Steel with Fire the Cannons and Swords and Tinkerbells for years, and I like to play aggressive decks.
Your green birds don't last long.
Exactly. And so if he tries to go aggressive, like Sky has the cannons, he has the bell singing. So like if Nash keeps like a super aggressive hand and Sky's just like turn 1 bell, it's like ugh.
And to note, he did not have that last game. So that bell, that was that was the weakness to the Sapphire decks in previous sets, was that you could kind of do your own thing, play by yourself for the first 2-3 turns, before they could really start ramping into their answers. And now you got Bell checking just about anything. So
I'm so proud of Sky not riffle shuffling here.
Take note.
I mean, I like watching them riffle shuffle, just not when it's my cards.
Yeah, not when it's my cards. Exactly. So moving into game 2.
So Sky just needs to take this game down for Villain Club, and that would put them up
2-0. Get down last time.
2-1.
Or sorry, I meant
the match 2.
Round 1. Yeah. Now with I guess I'm gonna ask, because with Dick playing on Villainous, is this like a mercenary type thing, or is he locked in? Will we see him on TFM?
He is technically on 2 teams at the moment. He is not allowed to play against TFM.
Oh, I was about to try to reach out to Dan and hire him on, have him take my spot against TFM.
You just have to find. You're gonna have to talk to Baker and try to get his recipe for the tea, because that's what it is. Like Baker just sneaks him the tea on the days he wants him to play, and he wakes up and he doesn't and gets them.
Ooh.
It's a lot of Mulans. And Sky did not have any turn 1 play.
Yeah.
That's so probably has the bell and no pop. That's a brutal way.
Yeah, and to note, I think he's on 10 1-drops, so for him to not see any...
Is he going to hit it off of the sail?
Sorry, 11 1-drops. Unless he just drew into a lot of uninkables, but I don't feel that that is the case. Huh. I guess I just noticed that he's on the 4 sails and the Fishbone Quill, so he's got options for ramping no matter what happens.
He's got to activate somehow.
Yep. All right, so I'm pretty sure this is what we were just talking about. Nash kind of gets to do his own thing for the first few turns, while Sky is ramping and hopefully has some sort of an answer on turn 4, because it is going
Needs to do something.
Yeah, it's going to become a slippery slope here shortly.
With all of those Steel Sapphire Rush cards.
And then if Nash has that Rapunzel waiting in hand, it's going to be quite devastating.
Ooh, big Scrooge.
Grabs a popsicle. Passes it back. Does he have the Rapunzel?
Yeah, if you're just tuning in, Sky took the first game. On the top, you'll see the star cards. Those represent game wins.
Oh, Raya. So I think if he had the Rapunzel, that would have been slammed down almost immediately.
The Rapunzel can still come down.
Or,
we ink ready the Gaston, exert it.
Oh my god, the big brain
is good. Or we just keep it up. So nope.
Nope. I think you.
Oh, that's not what we want. Well.
Maybe he's lining up the big boy. This guy's probably asking, what just happened? How'd you do that? And, I had a conversation with some of my teammates about like being able to cheat stuff out is obviously how you get ahead in the game between Diablos, and now with a bunch of the Sapphire cards doing the same thing. Amber Ruby has always had it. It just requires a little bit more patience and time to activate it. But if it goes unchecked, as we are currently seeing, kind of ridiculously strong here. And again, he gets to do it with his second Gaston in the Raya next turn if nothing gets.
He really needs to challenge this Gaston and Zeus the Raya.
Yep.
Because if Nash gets to ready up and then ink and use Gaston to put a Surfer in play, it might be over.
It might be over indeed. But he does only have one card in hand, so
yeah, it's got to be Surfer.
Yeah.
And there's this. Oh, no drawn cards.
Nope.
Get her out of here. We can still play Surfer though. If that last card is Surfer, there's a big boy coming in.
Yep. That top end, I think. Yeah, he could. With the Gastons out, he can play anything in his deck at this point.
But I mean, Scourge is pretty big. It is. Oh, lucky Sky. Unfortunate for Nash. That last card was not a Surfer, and if it was, the decision not to play it happened, I guess. I mean, we could play another Raya Ink ready, but then we can only play a 4-drop. Oh.
Double
that's
trade.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fairish. We want our Gastons to survive. Ooh.
All
right.
Very nice. And we spoke about this earlier as well. Tremaine coming down after all the ramping, although Sky has plenty of cards in hand still, so now Nash is going to be kind of playing off the top, right? So no cards in hand, but anything he draws into, he can slam down right away. Well, I take that back. Oh, choosing to take out the Lady Tremaine over the Gastons. What do you think of that?
Well, the only thing that changes is Dragon, because he has 7 otherwise.
Oh no! Oh, called it. Called it. Clip it. Clip it right now. Clip it.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think I see Monty in the chat. Monty, take notes. Just joking, but
That's how you
all
draw. You just got to
Yeah.
draw the card that punishes. But Dragon's got a little butt, just a little 5. She can easily be knocked down by another Zeus. Which Sky's not on the maximum copy, and needs to play quite a few characters if he wants to storm. But
again, no board wipes, and it's just gonna be kind of a single target.
Great play by Sky. One of the best cards in his deck. The Nash isn't going to be able to play any actions next turn, and I'm sure that is just devastating to Nash as he top decks another character card in his 60 character deck.
Oh man, was that the best play he could make there? Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it probably is. It's a 3/3 body, and that's why he played it. We're obviously having a little bit of fun here.
Yep.
I mean, that's what Sky wanted him to draw last turn.
Yeah, not a massive Maleficent Dragon to snipe his cards. This poor Jim. All right, is there a way out?
There is no Pongos in this list. There's a few spicy, expensive one-ofs. It's a pretty stockish list. There's a lot of 2s and 3s. Some people would hate that. Other people would like that. Some people don't like the crisp 2-line deck lists.
Yeah.
Other people, like Ed, they thrive on it. And I think there's only one other person in the world currently who could try to claim to have a better resume than Ed. And even him, I don't think could, because that person I don't think also won a DLC. Well, Ed has won a DLC and a Continentals. So I'm pretty sure he's arguably has the best resume on the planet.
Yeah, Tremaine was definitely a choice that he might be regretting at the moment, taking out the.
It would have slowed him down a turn.
Yeah, but
so
I think he just
may or may not have mattered. These are all the items that he needed earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the free Scrooge.
Ba-boom.
Is it enough? I don't know. Nash can quest for 6 up to 17, and Sky kind of has to do a lot, but double Scrooges does take out Gaston's, and I think at least one of these Scrooges is live currently, as well as the Pete. Maybe Pete's gonna sing some removal on one of the Gastons. I assume a strength is coming. Imagine strength on a Gaston and a Zeus as well.
That would be dirty. But I don't know if that Donald is live.
Okay.
I think he
so both of
played
those
it raw.
Donalds came in this turn? Okay.
Yeah, played it raw, and then he was able to find all the items he needed to play the second Donald. So if he can survive...
That's right.
Yeah.
He only had the Pete at the end of the turn. The lone referee. Scrooge, not Donald. Yes. You know what? I think Scrooge would be happy that we called him Donald. I think he would be loved to be referred to as his nephew that he despises most of the time in the TV shows. But he is a younger duck.
Donald. Ready? Gothel coming in.
15 lore is quite a bit.
Probably not the best card to hit off the top, but at this point he's so far ahead. Does it really matter?
So Donald takes out 1. Chicha quests to support the Pete, which then trades with the dragon, and then the other Donald takes out the Moana, leaving Nash with 2 cards to go to 17 lore. Sky might have this game.
You called it. The wizard has spoken once again. Taking out the big dragon.
It really kind of Sky has to have blanks, and Nash has to rip that Rapunzel off the top to refill hand, and then drop like a character and a piglet. And that would be the way to kind of get back in here. And Sky could even heal if he wants to.
Very true.
I don't know if I would or not, but maybe. It
But at
depends on
that
what's
point,
in
if
Sky's
he's
hand.
opting to start trading into the
Ooh.
Scrooges, that'll do it.
I think we have. This is tough because if you hit Gaston, Rapunzel's on the top of the deck. If you hit Mother Gothel, there's going to be some 7 drop off the top. Luckily, Surfer doesn't matter, but it's going to be hard to answer it. I think I actually have. I think you have to hit her. Yeah, and Sky's on the same plan.
Like Wreck-It Ralph.
Too scary. There is a single Wreck-It Ralph in the deck.
Yeah.
There is a single Wreck-It Ralph, which is pretty good, right? Just gains 2 lore and returns 1 or 2 characters.
And he does have the princess in the discard pile. So what did he draw here?
Well, he'd have to just slam it if it was the Wreck-It Ralph, right?
I know. What is the hesitation? What are we thinking about?
Maybe it's a Rapunzel.
Was it the Rapunzel? Oh no!
Then you just jam it into
that.
Passed. No! It's dragon.
It could
like, I mean, Sky's at 1. So if it's a Surfer, maybe you wait a turn. 2 turns technically. Like you have to draw a character and then play it.
Ooh.
Ooh. I'll pay 7 to play my Scrooge for free. Thank you very much.
I was like, I don't know if this, but no,
it was spicy. I liked it.
Yeah, and grabbed another Fortisphere right off the top. Does he ink it to hit off the Chicha? No.
Yeah, I don't think he inked all this turn.
No.
And now it's just like, sure, Nash, you want to eat my Chicha? She did her job.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And
Oswald
the dime is out.
Questing for 2.
You are correct.
But if that was Oswald, that dragon wouldn't have been like banished so easily, right? Like we would have had to sink 2 characters in. We'd have lost the Oswald there for that trade.
That support played a big role. Both games. Is Chicha the MVP for this match? I would probably say so. Between game 1 and now game 2.
Kriplin could be right. If the card drawn last turn could have been either dragon, it could have been a Sisu. That is the other spicy one of. I didn't want to necessarily say it, but I think most people know that there's going to be 1 or 2 Sisus on these lists.
Oh no! Does he have a dragon Sisu in hand?
I think you'd have to ink the dragon, and the Sisu is actually not even that good.
Not good at all.
I mean, you get.
Yikes.
I mean, you take out the MVP Chicha, you get out the Chicha. Well, there, 1 was a Sisu. Both of them were Sisus.
Bada bing, bada boom. Goodbye,
Kriplin's
Chicha.
too smart. Kriplin knows what's what.
Yep.
But I mean, we said dragon. Obviously,
Kriplin
Sisu,
is
right?
Monty.
Right.
Kriplin is Monty, so he was playing this version of this deck earlier in the day.
Actually, interacted with Monty then. Okay,
yes,
that makes more sense.
Sphere that he drew off the Donald the previous turn. Another popsicle. The item pile just keeps on stacking ever higher. Does he have another Scrooge in hand?
Ooh.
Good enough. Good enough. I think you called it. This is like.
I mean, it's still not too much lore gain. What do we need here? I think we have to draw like Gothel into Rapunzel.
And even then, that's 2 turns from now. Did not see the card draw he wanted. Oh.
That's
wowie.
Terrible. That puts Sky on a 3-turn clock instead of. Well, it was on a 3-turn either way. Maybe it would have been a 2-turn, but ooh.
Oof. Stop it, Sky. Stop hurting Nash.
Yeah, he needs a way to burst lore, and
unfortunately, this color pairing, this color pairing isn't really.
You know,
for all that.
I actually think playing Sisu was a mistake. I think that Nash needed to just play the 3-drop Sisu and pass. Be like, you have to have removal, and if you have removal for it, you do. And if you don't, then I get a shift Sisu, quest, and then like pass. And then I have my ink still. I have a big threat. Or I ink and then play I quest for 2 with the small Sisu and play the big Sisu, representing Lorthal. But Sky had the removal, so it didn't matter.
It did not matter. But yeah, that would have been an impressive play if he could have pulled that off or seen that line.
I don't understand.
He has a family. You are right, Mr. Burns. He does have a family.
I don't even remember what that point redemption is supposed to show. Oh, it's the J-bomb emote.
All right. Cheats out another bell. Hiram goes and can we do here? I think it's too little, too late, regardless of what he.
I mean, a Rapunzel there would have been okay. Oh,
super goof! Oh man,
super goof.
If imagine he took that line that you mentioned, Sisu, shift, and then super goof.
So it would have been Sisu would have gotten strengthed. He would have inked Maui, played big Sisu. Next turn, quested challenge and won. If Sky had nothing in the cards he had.
Yeah.
Oh. Be prepared is not in his deck.
Nope. Again, the one issue with the Ruby Amber color pairing is the lack of reliable card draw in my eyes, and we are seeing it here. He's been playing off the top for probably the last 6 turns. Meanwhile, Sky's just like, what do I do with all this ink?
Draw cards.
Draw more cards. Cheat out more bells. Cheat out more Donalds.
I think drawing cards is like the funnest thing you can do in any card game. When I play deck building games, I don't draft things that get victory points. No. If I'm not drawing my whole deck every turn, you're not really winning. Like that's how you really do it.
And then you have some people that love having other people draw cards, and those are Steel Song players. And as Chuck likes to do, he loves to mill his opponents. Oh, another Chicha. That should. Oh my goodness. He just sacked his lucky dime to play another bell and said,
we don't need no dimes.
I don't even need this. At all.
Oh, the Rapunzel we needed earlier. Well.
If he had drawn another Goofy, I think he would have felt a little bit worse.
Yeah, I think so.
And he plays 2 of them.
All right, well, if you want to jump in Discord and unmute in there. I'm very proud that you did not riffle shuffle your deck, Sky.
It was tempting, man. It was tempting.
I saw you move your hands once, and then
I was feeding for a riffle.
Yeah. He told me to keep an eye on you. Watch out for any riffles that might have happened.
Yeah, these are Wonders cards, so they're not mine to mess up.
Just
kind of notorious for messing. Yeah, way too expensive.
I mean, you riffle shuffle with your foil Tamatoas and your foil. You have foil beasts, right?
Those are like a third of the price of the regular new Tamatos, though.
True.
I don't have foil beasts. That was like the one thing I never bought. And foil Hades.
Well, Nash, and well, actually, we'll start with Sky. You Zeused the Lady Tremaine, and we were talking, and we're like, well, Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the only way you get punished basically is a dragon, and then Nash was like, "Hey, dragon."
Yeah, I thought I was done that game for sure. I definitely got lucky with a couple of Scrooge rips off the top, and they kind of chained. But yeah,
What, 7 cost?
I kind of wish I could have showed my hand to the stream because it was just like 3 Zeuses of strength, like a Jim. I had like Jim and Quill, but I missed a popsicle, so I couldn't go like Jim, Quill, Flavershim, and then sing a Zeus, which would have been probably much better. But yeah, we got bailed out by the Scrooges.
Yeah, turns out getting to cheat some cards out for free skis is really good. Between I think you played 3 Scrooges and 3 Bells. So,
yeah, it was towards the end there. They were just coming out for free. The one Scrooge hit a Fortisphere or something, and then
on the following
that
turn.
Fortisphere was my 4th item, and then that Fortisphere hit a Scrooge, so I played for free then, and I was like, okay, we're rolling.
I loved the dime. The dime to play the Scrooge for free was just hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, you freaking play it down and tap 4, and I was kind of sad. I was like, snap, I popped a popsicle. I probably didn't have to do that. And then I was like, well, I can just play the dime. That's fine.
So Nash, Mufasa's quite the fan favorite. What made you decide to play that today?
It's my favorite archetype. Part of me always wants to feel like this deck is just like the best one, you know? Yeah. I want to feel that way, but I get proven wrong quite regularly. That's okay. I mean, the deck's a lot of fun. I honestly think the game 2 felt really winnable, but I needed to find a Rapunzel, and I just didn't. That's just kind of the downfall of this deck, is that like there's one card draw engine, and it's Rapunzel, and that's it basically. So I don't know. It was fun. Like watching Blue Steel pop off is, you know, pretty painful, but it's still fun. Like
yeah, get used to it. It's not going nowhere.
Yeah,
until it gets banned. Something gets banned.
Or it goes the way of Bucky.
Yes, yeah. I think if there were competitive events right now, I think we'd be headed there real fast. But
yeah. Nash, you had a fantastic start, and obviously Sky kind of didn't get to see what he wanted to at the beginning of game 2. You took off to the races. We kind of discussed it, right? First 2-3 turns, you kind of got to do your own thing. Those Gastons came down, start cheating out some cards, but didn't see the card draw you needed, and then playing off the top, I'm sure that didn't feel very well. Is there any changes that you would like to see to the deck going forward? Are you going to be sticking to this color pairing? What are your thoughts with the current meta?
I think that there are certainly non-character cards that could help the deck, but that's kind of like it works against what Mufasa is trying to do. You're just adding like unlucky chances, I suppose. You know, you put 3 non-characters, and you're going to see 2 of them on your Mufasa flips. I don't necessarily know that the deck is well positioned, only because without the non-characters, you don't really have much authority to change anything that's happening, and this color pair doesn't have any item interaction, which is like really important right now. Also, the Gaston being able to cheat on 2 mana is like fine, but compared to, for example, what Blue Steel is doing, it feels very fair. So I don't necessarily think that red yellow is where I'm gonna continue to move, but I wanted to show it off. I wanted people to know that we're still out here. We're trying. Okay, we're trying.
So what card would you like to see printed in the next set that would make your favorite deck a little more competitive then? With the power creep that's happening with the other archetypes and colors, what do you think Ruby Amber needs?
Ruby Amber needs a single playable split card. How about that? Let's start there. It doesn't even matter what it does. If it's just playable, that would be great. Unfortunately, there are a lot of really cool things in the red-yellow cards with like the King Candies and such that came out, but they're all racer specific, so it makes your deck building very, very strict. And I think if a lot of those effects were maybe a little less specific and just maybe there was something that did like a cross between a Julieta Teeth and Ambition where it heals yours and deals damage to theirs, like something that mixes the two colors.
That would be
something
awesome.
like that would be cool.
I'll play this Teeth and Ambitions, put 2 on this. I'll play this new one, heal 2 off this, heal, deal 2 to your other character. Yeah, I mean, that could be pretty good. Pretty good.
So yeah, I think there's plenty of spaces to go, but the split cards just didn't really help the archetype this set. But we got great future ahead. We'll see.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that this set, it took longer for it to release, so the next set is going to be sooner to release. I think the next set releases in like a month and a half or 2 months.
So I believe like end of May, right as soon as set champs end. It's like almost right then and there.
So I would assume that hopefully they are aware and they're just like, you know what? Well, we're not going to take any actions yet. We're going to wait until the next set comes out. Maybe they're like, well, we know it's a little whatever. We wanted you to have some fun. We know there's answers in this next set to help with it. Plus the fact that, like, if we look at the Hunter event, like, there was a bunch of Emerald Steel that was taking off, showing that while the big bad Sapphire Menace is around, discard is always there to try to help. And Amethyst Steel took down the event. You just got to go fast. It's like, sure, you're going to remove everything I do, but if everything I play gains lore, it's not enough. So there is still some hope in the format.
Yeah, There's. I think the format's a little more open than it may seem. I mean, we just saw what Blue Steel can do, but there are definitely options to play with that can at least compete. I mean, sometimes they're just going to steamroll you. It is what it is, but
whenever a control style deck is winning, it's going to look brutal, and it's going to just like be the most torturous thing. That's just how control decks are. It's going to be that way. And I don't think there's a way to really fix that, right? You either beat them really quickly or you slowly and steadily get perished. At least they win with dimes out of nowhere now, so you don't have to pull your hair out. But is there any shout outs that either of you would like to give out? We can start with you, Nash.
The Lorcana Lounge, just all of them. Especially Tran, the Rat, Braden. We've been staying up late, stalking Lorcana a lot. Zach, my local partner here, we talk Lorcana a lot too, so they're cool and they're great.
Nice. And Sky?
Luke, I'm a little disappointed that you didn't ask me the question of what card do you think Blue Steel needs for next set.
I don't think they need anything.
I've been banking on this for the past 4 minutes, and I've cooked up something good.
What card?
All right, we got a Blue Steel Dual Link. Jim Hawkins, John Silver, 6-cost inkable. It's Cogsworth, but it's a 4/6. That's it.
It's a 4/6 Cogsworth for how much?
For 6 ink.
Does it have shift?
And it gives itself +1 resist.
So Pete, the new Pete.
So it gives
that
all
sounds
your characters
way
resist.
better than Pete. But
it's still a little too good, I think.
Yeah.
Print it. Surely it's not as broken as Scrooge. There's no way.
Well,
But yes,
shout outs for you.
My shout outs. Yeah, shout out my team, Villain Club. Shout out to Zach Bivens. It's his birthday today. Go wish him a happy birthday. Probably on Twitter is the easiest way to reach out to him. Shout out Zepha. Shout out you guys for putting this on. I appreciate it. The judges.
We appreciate you. And the judges we definitely appreciate, because I don't want to have to do this, and they're amazing at it, so it works out quite well.
Thank you all, for real.
They take a lot of time out of like 3 times a week, every week. It's pretty awesome, and we're very, very happy to have them here helping us. All right, well, you two have a great night. I do believe we're gonna raid over to Liam. I swapped over to VDO if you want to say your goodbyes through that. Sploosh.
What's up?
I can't hear you. I think your headset is muted.
Stand
I
by.
still cannot hear you.
Check.
Oh, never mind. I'm silly. They can hear you though. I couldn't because I didn't want to hear you twice, but they can hear you. So go for it.
There we go. All right. Shout out to my team, Freedom Gaming. Shout out to Southside Gaming, who are putting on a 15 case charity tournament April 5th. I know signups kind of filled up within like the first 2 or 3 hours, but there's a wait list, so don't give up hope. It is for a fantastic charity, and the winner gets to pick what charity they want to give their 1/3 of the proceeds to, and then Peter Raimundo gets to pick a third, and the store will pick another charity of their choice.
And this is the Southside Gaming one?
Southside Gaming 15 case charity tournament, and it's super awesome. I hope to see you there at some point. Maybe you can come on down.
Well, as soon as they start giving me plane tickets, I would probably. I actually already talked to my wife. I was just like, she's been doing this haunt thing, and she's been taking some time. She's like, I'm going to do this. I'm like, I am going to want to fly to something soon. I have the urge. I want to play at least one set 7 event that, like, before the next set comes out, and I might, if I'm lucky, carpool to CCS, but I'm not entirely sure if that's going to happen or not. I would love to be able to fly down to Florida and hit one of those big events up. That'd be sick.
It sounds like, and I can't give away too much, but there's going to be another one in May as well. So everybody be on the lookout for that. So let's try to line something up, get you down to Southside Gaming, and whether you want to play or commentate, I'm sure the guys over there, the owner, will accommodate you in whatever capacity you need. But for this next one, it's near and dear to my heart. So we are doing that big charity tournament, and I hope people will show up to support or watch on stream.
All right, well, there's your link tree in the chat if people want to check out your stuff and your team. But that's going to be it for tonight. We're going to raid the Illumineers. You all have a great night, and I'll see you all later.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, it was a blast. Hopefully, if I can't make it down to Southside Gaming, maybe I'll be able to do like a remote cast or something sometime. I just have to chat with them, basically.
Yeah, Brennan got to do it, so I'm sure they can make it happen for you too. So,
all right. Well,
have a
now
good
we're
night.
heading out. Bye.
Peace.
And